As I begin recording. So, after exploring Itzel's nightlife, Angus struck a deal with Grimbold Irontusk for recognition as the Lord of Morthon. You did some shopping for the feast decoration in the Moonlit Market. Dujar's curse was lifted in a ritual led by Angus. Liska did some bonding with her Gallimimus, her Longstrider, Titan, for the Gallimimus races. Grunker entertained himself with some magical fishing antics. Dujar pursued the Aurum Plate robes, gaining a side quest in the meantime. And you all acquired beachwear for your vacation. Angus and Vellum met up with Lali and afterwards did some preparation for Angus's feast in honour of Madame Zanzil. Later on, during the feast down at the beachside, you observed a strange sight of a temple structure, sort of perched atop a sea stack, a massive shark dangling from a hook off the edge of the formation. Either some catch of the day, trophy, or some sort of offering. You contemplated the meaning of this during your feast, during which there were plenty of shenanigans around unreasonably spicy foods between Vellum, Varesh, and just overall across the group as Grunk introduced his fire salts. Lots of culinary exchanges here. Angus also informed Liska of the contract he acquired from Grand Hunter Vorsha, detailing the nature of the quarry, a creature called Bloodhorn. You later enjoyed the fiery performances of the fire nymphs, this travelling trio of female pyromancers. During this performance, Angus and Grunker were invited to join the dance. Grunker let loose a little bit too much and summoned the inner flame of Incendrius, transforming at the end of the performance into his larger primordial form. Thankfully, Angus pulled him away from the rest of the act before he could incinerate the other performers, and although most people thought this was merely part of the act, thankfully. Later on, before Madame Zanzil's departure, she pressed Angus about the possibility of the Hammer Strike working for her instead of Varesh, not to let loyalty hold them back from greatness, which immediately soured on Angus. And then we panned over to Dujar and Liska, who had left earlier to go to the Ember Room before the performance to meet up with Ida Ulnerim and her companion, Tuli Ulverda, to discuss this deal Ida had with Dujar. And in exchange for Karolath's staff and spellbook, Dujar gave Dujar a new, very powerful, brand spanking new spellbook. The only catch being she needed to learn Draconic to use it, to which Liska and Ida seemed happy to help Dujar with. The topic then moved on to the Tomb of the Dragon Rider, specifically the key needed to open the tomb. However, before this, we pan over to Grunker, who's doing what exactly and where. Gab?
Yes, I was muted, sorry.
There you go. So, what are you doing?
Right, so first, let's see. So I am I'm going back to my room. I have a level of exhaustion. I kind of think that because it is night now, right? Or
It is
getting to night.
It is currently night, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So instead of going to his room, Gronk is gonna go somewhere more secluded, I guess. I don't know, I don't know if you can really go outside the city in a realistic time frame, because it's a pretty big city, right?
It's a big town. No, it's not necessarily a massive metropolis of a city.
Right. Well, He's gonna go somewhere. It might be just be like go back to the beach,
Okay,
but just go to like a different place and kind of like go to a place that isn't like doesn't have people on it, and maybe like a bunch of rocks that he can be
sure.
behind or whatever. So when he gets there, he is going to take out. Let's see, what is it called? It is called. Let's see, items. Elemental gem of fire.
Hmm.
So he is going to, make sure he is in a somewhat secluded area, and then he is going to break the gem, and thus summon a fire elemental.
As the fiery energy surges from the gemstone, a familiar sight unfolds before you as you kind of isolate yourself on a beach around a sort of nearby secluded cove away from civilization. A towering figure standing at 10 feet tall manifests in front of you. In fact, I can do this.
That was kind of funny because I saw Ducky's like cursor on it. I was like, oh hey, that's Ducky, or it's called Ducky, and I was like, oh no wait, never mind, it's just his cursor. Okay, so Grunk is gonna like summon this thing.
Yep, the intense. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and he's just gonna like look at it, and then he's just gonna sit down.
Sit down before this swirling entity comprised entirely of crackling flames. Intense heat emanating from it causes the air to shimmer and distort, creating this otherworldly atmosphere. The fire elemental moves with this ethereal grace. It's flickering flames, leaving scorch marks on the sand as it sort of almost not quite steps forward. It sort of glides forward a bit. You can see that a few bits of glass are starting to form in the sand.
Grunk is going to gesture towards either a rock or the ground, and then, as in like, have a seat. And then he is going to, in Ignian, it's called Ignian, right? Ignian, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Ignan, right? Ignian. Right, so in Ignan, he's going to be... Hello, greetings. How long have you been in that gem? Or how have this worked? Have you been in this gem, or were you simply summoned by the breaking of the gem? Have you been free before this?
The elemental's ever-changing form observes you as it dances and writhes. The flames constantly shifting, reshaping. Sparks and embers burst from its fiery surface, casting this warm orange glow in all directions. The air crackles with the energy of pure fire, and the scent of singed smoke fills your nostrils. This living embodiment of the untamed power of flame, and as it speaks, this crackling. The crackling sound of embers seems to almost form these patterns, these recognizable words.
I was summoned from beyond.
Okay, that is good to know. Wouldn't want to. Then I know for future if I find any more of these. So, well, welcome to this cold, inhospitable place. I have a few questions, if you wouldn't mind.
The elemental sort of flickers and waits patiently. There's this from your perspective, there's this undeniable beauty to this fire elemental, sort of flames dancing with this vibrant energies, casting these mesmerizing patterns of light and shadow across the sand. And it listens intently.
Well, first off, what is your name? My name is Grunka. If you do not have a name, that is interesting to know. And in that case, how do you distinguish from one another, other than looks? See, I'm trying to learn a bit more about your kind and where you come from, and I felt like the best way to inquire this information would be simply to ask someone from said area.
In your tongue.
I actually didn't fucking come up with a name. God damn it. You stuck
Well,
the
we
DM.
are. Well, we are also speaking in Ignin, so it doesn't have to be in like your tongue. It just can be whatever, like fucking.
My name is Carl.
Yeah, be fucking Emberbeard or something. I don't know. Or fucking Gunnar. I
My
don't
name
know.
is Tiffany.
Oh, I didn't realize.
It's my
I mean-
maiden name.
It could be something like fire crackling or any kind of,
Simply a
sound
sound.
from a bonfire.
Yeah, simply a sound that has no meaning.
The crackling energy flickers once more, creating these sounds reminiscent of words.
In your tongue. Best translation. Lumos.
Write that down, Janner.
There you go.
Lumos. Alright. Okay, Lumos. How... I'm a little curious when it comes to this sort of summoning. Do you simply... How does it work for you? Do you simply get a call and you can choose to do it or not? Or do you have any reason to do it? Or can you simply choose not to? And if you choose not to answer, does it go to somebody else? And in the end, were you doing anything before this? How disruptive is this calling to you?
Take form of energy at home. Call from beyond gives us form.
Oh, that's interesting. So back in... Fuck. Jenner, what's the place called again?
Elemental plane of fire.
Okay, it doesn't have a proper name. EPE.
EP.
Yippee. Alright. Yippee! Yippee! Okay. So, in the plane of fire, you are simply not of form, you are just a free-flowing form of energy.
The crackling entity of flame and fire gives a gesture that one could construe as a nod.
Do you prefer to be in this Gurga kind of gestures towards this more solid form. Is it something that you crave?
The elemental pauses for a moment, and you can almost see it thinking.
It makes no difference. I am what I am.
Okay. That is very interesting. So when you are home in the fire elementals, with other fire elementals in the plane of fire, do you... How does it look over there? Do you have societies? Do you have tribes? Do you have towns? Do you live in families? Do you live alone? How is it over there? How is life? Is it much of a life?
No society among our kind, but one city. City of brass, home of Ifrit, Grand Sultan's domain.
Jenny, you mind writing that name down? Home of something Sultan?
City of Brass, home of Ifrit, Grand Sultan's domain.
Ifrit, okay. Where's my notes? And how do you spell Ifrit? Oh yeah, there you go. Home of Ifrit, okay. Ifrit, is he the leader of your people? Is he some sort of, what does he do other than, be the head of the Grand Sultan?
Ifrit are people. Grand Sultan rules from City of Brass.
Oh, so Ifrit is what you are, and the Grand Sultan rules over you.
No,
Who is the Grand Sultan? No?
we are not soul denizens.
Oh. I see. Who is the Ifrit in that case?
Ifrit are lords. They rule. Powerful rulers.
Oh, I see. Who is the Grand Sultan? Does he have a name?
None know his name.
Oh. I see. Tell me, what... Wait, hang on. My notes. Where are you? There you go. To you, who is Incendious, the Scar Maker?
Incendious powerful, burned all, turned enemies to ash. Great rage. Among
Is he?
Among the greatest spirits forged by flame, one among many, chosen against the golden tide.
Okay. Is he there in the elemental planes of fire? Does he exist over there in your world?
The flames of the elemental visibly dim, sort of grow thinner, duller. What you could probably construe as a no.
I see.
Lost. Lost. Scattered embers. Astral ley lines. Crane's worthy vessel.
So I've heard. Is there... Do you know of a way to get to the elemental planes of fire?
Ley lines provide the route.
I see. Do you have any connections with the ley lines? Being a resident of the fire planes?
Ley lines brought me here. To your vessel.
And he kind of gestures towards the... it kind of gestures towards the shattered remains of the crystal that you provided.
I see. Grunka is going to put, like, he's gonna take out his axe and he's gonna kind of like put it in his knees, and he's gonna look up at the elemental and he's gonna ask, "Do you know what this is?"
The flames of the elementals swell and intensify with heat. Some sort of recognition in the sort of vague shape of some sort of face.
Mighty axe. Fearsome. Decimated legions. Extension of his fury. Forged by his rage.
Does this, and Grunka's gonna gesture towards the gem, the Heartfire crystal. Does this have any meaning to you?
Great vessel. A path home.
path home. Could anyone but you use it to go to the elemental planes of fire?
Attuned to elemental fire. No.
Interesting. If you or anyone else of your kind would die here, do you simply go back to your realm, or are you extinguished forever?
Cannot die here. Extinguished in elemental plane. Extinguished forever.
Okay, that is good to know. Do you or do your kind harbor any ill will to anyone who slays you in this realm, or do you simply not care?
Can only speak for self.
Mm-hmm.
No. Would feel frustration.
I could see that. How do you feel about the other elements? Water, earth, air. Are they comrades or enemies, or are they simply other beings that just exist?
Do not fear.
What did he say? Did they do not feel or do not fear?
Do not feel.
Okay. Yeah, I
You
figured
gather,
much.
indifference.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured. I just wanted to make sure. You know, once I have someone here. If are you able to go back yourself once you enter this place, or do you have to be sent back?
Must find vessel.
Okay, well, I guess it's good that I have one then, so that you can go back whenever you want. But what other creatures or people exists in the elemental planes of fire other than the Effie?
Fire creatures thrive. Others need protection. Resist fire. Elementals. Salamanders. Born of fire. Giants recent. New outsiders.
Oh? There are people from here in the elemental plane of fire?
Yes. Giants recent.
Oh. I see. Jenny, what did he say exactly? Giants something.
He said, fire elementals, salamanders, born of fire. Giants recent, new outsiders.
So the giants are new outsiders. Okay. I see. Huh. Are they giants that are imbued with fire, or are they, just kind of normal?
Fire giants. They gather for war.
Do they? Against who?
Do not know.
I see. I see. I do not think I have any more. If Incendious, the Scarmaker, would be brought back together and made whole, do you know what he would do? Would he go back to the plains of fire? Or would he remain here and continue what he was doing before he was scattered?
There's a pause in the elemental. That crackling sound reminiscent of flames and fire. I think this is music is getting a little bit intense. Let me just change that.
I was gonna say it's like
Yeah.
okay.
Not know.
Did you know him? Have you lived in the same time as he have? Do you age?
Fought alongside Incendious, yes. Violent flesh blasted away. We were torn apart. Embers scattered, dying. We are forms, ageless.
This might be a bit of a personal question, so feel free to not answer. But can you repopulate your kind in the Plains of Fire? Or are you a finite number in case someone would die in the Plains of Fire and be extinguished forever?
Once extinguished, in our home, forever lost.
So the ones that exist now are the ones who have existed and always will exist, unless extinguished. I understand. I believe I have more questions for now, but if we ever meet again, then maybe I will have more. But for now, you are free to go back if you will desire. But you can stay in this form for a while if you want. If you enjoy this form. I will simply remain here. Maybe do some fishing. Watch the night sky. It is your choice.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh boy. Let's see. It's an ability check. It is, right? Persuasion. I am going to use my inspiration because I never fucking used my inspiration.
Okay.
But is this so? Persuasion, is that an ability check? Because I would have disadvantage on that, right? Or is ability checks like strength and dex and stuff like that?
It's a skill check, so I think that'll be an ability check.
All right.
It should automatically apply. Yeah, there you go. 9.
Okay. 12. Well, 12 because I used I used my thing, so it would be a normal roll, right?
Oh,
so be
okay.
12.
Okay, 12.
Plus 14.
It's the,
Yeah,
it's the thing
13.
where it fucking bugs out. Of
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
The elemental sort of seems to grow dimmer and dimmer as time goes on.
Return to fire. Eternal embrace. Gratitude.
Okay. Grunka is going to kind of reach over the axe with the gem facing him.
With this mesmerizing swirl, the elemental's form begins to diminish, its fiery essence becoming ethereal and wispy, and strands of its flickering flames stretch outward, latching onto the crystal surface as if being pulled by this irresistible force. And as the elemental is gradually absorbed into the gemstone, its flames intensify, blazing with a magnificent brilliance. The surrounding air crackles with intense heat, and this vibrant aura of fire envelops you and the crystal in this captivating display of elemental energy. The crystal pulses with this fiery intensity. A single bead of fiery light as the essence of flame is absorbed into it. Now all that remains. And gradually the elemental essence merges completely with the crystal, becoming one with its fiery core. This profound stillness descends as the once warring fire elemental now resides within the depths of this gem. Its powerful energy contained within these crystalline confines returned to its home plane.
Goodbye, Lumos. Thank you for your time. and speaking like that really strains your throat. Yeah. Okay. Maybe you can come out now if you want. I know that thing is very scary to you. Yeah.
Webby
yeah, I know.
scuttles out from beneath this nearby rock formation.
Yeah. Yeah, probably should have warned you there. That was what I was gonna do, actually. Yeah. Well. Oh, wait, look. You can kind of like pick up like some pieces of glass that's in the sand. Oh, wait, look. It's kind of pretty. You know, they're very, they're pretty interesting, those fire guys. They're simple, but more like, you know, more of a person that I ever really knew. Which is interesting. So, let's see if we can, when I do go and cast a line or two before I head back, you know, clear the head a bit. Maybe we can even catch something tasty. And I guess I'm gonna roll a d6. That's a 3. No catch today. Oh well. Yeah. And Gurkus is gonna kinda sit there in the moonlight, fishing a little bit with Webby on his side. Just kinda thinking about the conversation he has had. Before eventually going back to the room. And that's me.
Oh, hang on, I was just muted. We'll pan over to Angus and Sayun. So, what are the both of you doing?
If memory serves, we were currently at the dinner that was just ending, right? Oh, and I dropped something. We're currently at the dinner that was just ending.
The dinner has ended. You're on your way.
Yeah, we were at the dinner, it ended, and we went to get the dress.
Which is
there we go.
Which is easy enough to do.
Easy enough.
You are provided with your dress. Last session, I believe we all ended with the rest of you kind of entering the Ember Room, but we can backtrack a bit if that's your preference.
Yeah, I think the timeline of events was a little skewed on that point as well, because...
Yeah, I don't remember us entering the Ember Room, because that is something specific that he wanted to do, or like I had something for. Liska, I think, entered the Ember Room along with Dejar, but Sayun and Angus didn't get the chance. We were there later.
Yeah, I think Velum and Varesh would be the next to arrive, because they went basically straight there after the party ended. But Angus and Sao had to go to the tailor's first to pick up the drip.
And that didn't happen. I have no recollection because I wanted to do
I think Jared was just trying to make it like a neat little bundle, but it's
We're gonna arrive in stages.
Which is fine.
Yeah, but people left in stages and
But yes. Definitely focus on there. Did you want to have a scene at the tailor and then go to the Ember Room, or did you want to just pick up at your arrival?
I was gonna do something at the tailor in picking it up.
Yeah, sure. So as you make your way, as you make your way through the streets of Itzel towards Coatl Couture. And scene.
I can never pronounce that name. So with that, Angus raps his heavy knuckles against the door. Hello?
You do notice that that door is kind of closed right now. You gather the Coatl Couture itself is indeed closed for the evening. However, there is a light that is on within, and eventually kind of waiting for about a minute or so, you hear a series of unlatching locks, and the door creaks open. You see the familiar face of
Lady
Forgotten name.
Talk?
here we go. Lady Talak. I believe you are here for your package, yes? Your clothes.
Absolutely.
Very well, come on. And with actually kind of
In we go.
hurries the both of you in.
So I
And-
was instantly just taking a look around and then sort of eyeing Lady Talak and then eyeing Angus with the sort of, what has he gotten up to now?
So you
Just smiles, raises a brow.
this is the first time that you're entering here, so you can see this vast array of different beautiful bits of clothing that are sort of arrayed with an all manner of colourful, brightly coloured feathers and ornamental golden embroideries and all sorts. But one of them that sort of sticks out for you, Sayun, as she kind of makes her way around the back, she wheels in this sort of wooden mannequin that's bearing this immaculately crafted sort of black silk gold embroidered. I believe you described it last session, Angus.
Oh yeah, and I even shared an image.
Yes. Remind us what it looks like.
Oh yeah, very similar to the Celestial Dragon sort of Empire outfits. It's sort of that Far East Asian aesthetic, sort of long, a little bit more form-fitting in certain areas. Others, like around the knees, looser, golden trims along the lot of it. A little bit, the higher collar there. Sleeveless, but with a complement of like a sort of undersuit for it. So it's even the areas that might be exposed skin are instead, not. There's some kind of cloth there, even though it's closer to like sort of a stocking type material. Some degree of modesty still. Strong sort of like, Oriental vibes. That would be of something closer to her homeland, but with whatever little bits of air would be appropriate for here. Little feather details with this or that, yellow and red feathers instead of, just an absence of it.
And Lady Talak sort of rolls out this mannequin, very ostentatious, presentory fashion, and gestures to this newly crafted outfit for you, Sayun. I believe is this to your liking, Angus? Mr. Brackenbrick, was it?
It quite is, I do believe. He's gonna just sort of like look at Sal a little bit, quirked eyebrow. To the liking?
The best way to describe Sal's expression is as if someone had lost their face. Just there was not even a mask or a smile or anything. She was just staring at the dress for like a solid 10 seconds, unmoving, before she just sort of, without breaking eye contact with the dress, this goes, Angus, are you serious?
Hey, who's gotten you a nice dress before?
It's almost as if she's trying to swallow some sort of pride. Is probably the best way to describe it. as she sort of swings slightly from side to side as is trying to think of something. She steps closer to the dress, looking at it, wondering, pondering, just... This is way... I know you dwarves like to do things as best as possible, but this is way too for me.
Oh no. And to be fair, she's not a dwarf. The madam here is... You are human, right?
Yes, I am human. She gives you this very perplexed
So it's
look.
not just dwarves that like to do the best. Sometimes the humans can make the best too. And he kind of nods at her. And, you know, sometimes an orc deserves the best as well. Besides, they have a very strict outfit policy. We have to give you something nice to get in. And, well, what's the point of giving something worse? If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna make sure it's the best it can be. So I go to the best tailor and get the best thing. And you know what? We gotta make sure it's got the best fit too. So, go on, just try it on for a moment. Make sure it fits right. Over here we can make sure there's no final adjustments. There you go.
Dara just rolls her eyes mostly to herself before she looks to Lady Talak as if asking, is there a changing room?
Yes, there are changing rooms. You are provided with one.
Alright. It's just the dress and nothing else, no other surprises.
Well, unless you want to pick one out, he kind of gestures to the final selection, you know.
She holds up a finger as if to, like, almost scold him with a slight blush in her cheek as she just sort of, I'll try it on first. And she quietly takes the dress with her to the changing room.
Trying on this dress, it's unusual. You've never actually worn anything this high class or fancy before. It's a first for you, and it almost feels a bit out of place for you as well.
Almost feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
Sexy Flanders.
That'd be a fucking meme image. But yes, as she's trying it on, there's this, I would say, growing confidence in that she actually looks pretty good and can't really admit it to herself. But she does take a liking to it, is probably the best way. And then she steps out of the changing room to, you know, not sure if it's to show off. It's definitely to, like, say, is this as you expected?
Lady Tluk sort of interposes herself. Oh, you look fabulous, dear. And she kind of looks you up and down. I know that look. This is the first time you're wearing something like this, isn't it?
It just sort of, it gives her the eyes of saying, like, is it that obvious?
Don't worry, dear. You look positively stunning.
I won't lie, I feel like I'm quite literally not wearing anything. It is... How thin is this?
Well, as thin as silk.
I've never actually worn silk. I usually wear cotton or linen.
Yeah, I've noticed. Since we arrived to Mortney, I don't think I've seen you get anything other than those common clothes.
Yes, they're
The
practical.
closest thing you've got is whatever Vellum made you, but that's armor. It doesn't really hold the same, you know.
We do have a few overcoats if you feel it is lacking.
Almost like she's biting her lip as if to just wanting to get out of here, but at the same time she can't really disagree. Like, this is thin, and while it is warm weather, nights are usually cold, so an overcoat would do well. Just sort of gives a defeated sigh.
I recognise that look. Alright. You pick out something fancy, I'll get into my outfit, and then we'll just wrap up any final accessories. I
Alright.
need to find me a good smoking pipe.
With that,
Make us look like his outfit.
alright. Your outfit is very much it is provided to you, Angus. There are also a selection of sort of brightly coloured feathered coats, probably crafted from raptor feathers and the like. Lady Tlark seems very insistent that. These are all very ethically sourced, of course. She kind of she looks back to her pet raptor, sort of perched up on top of a nearby shelf, lazily preening itself. She seems to have an affinity for animals. But I feel like
She's got a side hustle where it's like a cat fucking what it's not cat retreat, it's, you know, for the homes for abandoned animals resort or whatever.
Oh no!
You know, and she's just picking up all the dropped feathers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like, oh, here's a good one.
Yep. Quite possibly. But I will say, for the sake of a coat, a very, very fancy coat, you could probably just mark off. I'll say 2 gold.
Easy peasy.
Who's paying?
Me.
I was about to
Angus is
argue
paid
on
for
that.
everything now. He's like, buy your own coat. Jesus. No.
So gonna be fucking decked out.
There you go.
Yes.
So with this, you pick out a very, very nice sort of raven black feathered coat, which matches your current outfit perfectly. So, what else would you like to do here?
Here you go. I've got my outfit that I already bought. But here's a question, because that hasn't really been gone into too much. Jenner, what did she do for Angus's outfit? Because he didn't give any specifics for that.
Ah, okay. So, she has designed for you a very this very smart sort of a waistcoat entendre, sort of gold embroidery along the trims, you know, as is, you know, her style. A few feathers around the collar, just to make the both the feathers, the neckline and the sort of shoulders pop. Very the shoulders have been padded to make themselves look very broad. Sort of smart leather. I don't know what you would call the sort of medieval equivalent of trousers.
Pantaloons.
Pantaloons. There you go.
Breeches.
Pantaloons.
Also
Breeches.
suitable.
Breeches or sort of
Breeches,
pantaloons.
trousers.
Oh god, breaches, that sends me back to fucking Advanced Dungeons
What,
and Dragons.
smart, tight breeches.
Not
Look at me and my.
not extremely tight as to be uncomfortable, but you know, very smart, prim, proper. She seems to have studied a bit of the a bit of other sort of a few of the other Mayland fabrics she's gotten imported from elsewhere, and has taken inspiration from those various sort of like dwarvish or sort of best way I can describe it is like Celtic patterns almost, sort of woven into the waistcoat itself, and she's also provided you with a feathered overcoat to go with it.
Was it Kingston, the one that had the halflings in Mayland?
Kingston is a halfling city, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because that makes me think, you know, the Celtic sort of thing is
Yeah.
halfling dwarves. Neat. Very fancy.
Is it to your liking?
Final
Is there
thing.
any last minute changes that I might be able to do for you?
Well, it's quite well. Looks nice. He kind of like rubs the knees together a little bit between the thighs. Sounds nice. I quite like it. I think it's just fine. Only thing is, she's got the coat and I've got this, and I'm already padded enough for the warmth. But just odd question.
Yes.
Trying to look as smart as the rest of this outfit. You have any smoking pipes?
She kind of thinks to herself for a moment and kind of makes her way around the back of the store. You can hear a few sort of opening of drawers, kind of cluttered clinks and tacks here and there, and she comes out with this elegantly crafted, not Mayland in origin. It appears to have this sort of this saurian design where the head is this sort of like a image of a stylized T-Rex, and it's sort of long, curved at the very bottom. How would this do?
Oh, I quite like that. It's powerful and imposing. It reminds me of the great white one we fought against on the way here. Take it.
That will be a simple gold piece.
I'll tell you what, for everything here, here is a platinum to cover everything and a tip.
Well, thank you. I will
Thank you.
I will remember your patronage here.
Good, because with this quality I intend to come back.
And that she hands over the smoking pipe.
Well then, I think we have some things waiting for us. Kinda reaches the fuck out with like the really high lifted elbow. You might have to bend down to the side a little bit. These didn't come with heels.
So I was just... She's trying to... I guess the term is act how she looks. But at the same time she's smiling at the fact that Angus is just... He's trying his best to be serious, I can tell. But also, he's just layering it on, isn't he?
Motherfucker's dripping like a beer tap.
Alright.
But you don't want a dripping beer tap. I'm just fucking.
Alright. So,
Yep, just off we go.
alright, so as you both saunter out of Quartal Couture, just dripped up to the nines. The both of you do pull a few glances along your way as you make your way through the streets of Itzel. Oh yeah. As you make your way to the Ember Room. Speaking of which, so as the topic of conversation between Dejar and Ida moves on to it's Ember Room. Audio actually comes up. Yeah, it moves on to the tomb of the Dragon Rider, specifically the key needed to open the tomb. And it is at that point that I think. Come on, Sirenscape, what are you doing?
I thought you'd forgotten people's names for a second. For 5-7 years and you can't remember their names? God.
Happened to you, Mario?
God.
An overtax.
So it's at that point that I imagine Angus, Sayun, and Velum would enter. Well, Velum and Varesh.
First.
What?
Vellum and Naresh first, because they left earlier than we did.
The timelines are becoming skewed.
Okay, so
It's fine, I'm teasing.
so Velum and Varesh, you both enter the Ember Room first.
How noteworthy and prominent are... Well, I know Liska is prominent in her own regard, but like how noticeable are they off to the side? Are they like in a very noticeable place? What's the...
Well,
Look for the tallest person in the room. That's literally.
Well, yeah, fair point. There's competitors, but no one's taller than Liska.
yeah, they kind of stand out like a sore thumb here. You do take notice of these familiar faces as you kind of enter the Ember Room. You see Liska and Dejar are sat around this large table at the far end of the Ember Room, and it's in this large cubicle type arrangement. Kind of sat next to them are these two figures: this tall, verdant green mountain folk woman with this sort of mane of flowery emerald hair and a dark. Also, you see a dark grey blue sort of refined looking demon woman. And they're all sort of engaged in conversation with each other.
How big is this place? Is this like a massive lounge, or is it more of a small, intimate one?
It is quite large. You're sort of stepped into this grand foyer type area. There's two floors here, two levels. Dejar and Liska and these other two figures are sort of sat at the ground floor at the very back of the Ember Room.
All right. He won't go out of his way to sort of go over and interrupt the conversation at hand, but as Velum and Varesh, and presumably would I have left Vladimir with Bunker? This seems like an adult establishment. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're not getting a child in here.
Yeah, that. You know what? This is kind of an adult establishment. This is a lounge where drinking and smoking and then talking happens. So,
all right.
Should probably. Yeah, I'll leave her with Grunka. She's safe with Grunka, and that place is like fucking enclosed and on a higher floor, from what I recall. So, she'll be alright for the meantime.
I'm pretty sure she's conked out on a bed.
Probably, yeah. Very busy day. Sorry, getting a bit. Sorry. But yes, on the way over to the bar. Presuming it's invisible. Invisible. Christ, what's wrong with me today? I can't words. Presumably able to see the bar and making their way over to it, Velum will make use of the earring to, let's say Liska, because it seems like Dejar's probably the more chatty of the two.
Me and Miss Rasmund just arrived. I'm getting drinks. Do you and Dejar need anything? And maybe something for your, companions there?
No. We already have drinks, and they have a familiar that allows them to get drinks as well.
Alright, I'll swing by at some point.
This is a business meeting. You probably do not want to.
Wait, this is a business meeting. Probably don't want to, is what she said.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Just want to be clear. Very important to get the two of those. Oh, right. Well, if you need me, I'll be at the bar with Rasmund.
All right. We'll probably come over after the.
And with that, to the bar.
All right.
Just find a. I presume it's the stool and bar top situation.
It's there's no stalls at the bar, but you do see a number of lounging areas where you can take your drinks. So that seems to be the most common practice here. Anyone anyone at the bar is probably just standing there.
Good old standing bar. Just double check notes real quick. Because I gotta remember something specific. Damn it, why is your DM so far down the list, Jenner? Okay, there we go. Once arriving at the bar. Barkeep, Ember Elixir for the lady.
You see this rather burly looking Tosian individual, sort of looks like mixing a bunch of rare herbs in a sort of a large, weirdly enough, a large beaker instead of a sort of ceramic cups. In fact, you can see a number of other. They almost look like potions in a weird way across the back of the across the back of the bar, and he gives you a nod, kind of sits down in his current project and makes his way over, grabs a few what look like these fiery looking herbs and spices and begins sort of melding and mixing.
And I'd like to open a tab while I'm here.
Very well.
Is it like a bottles on the wall type of deal that you can see the kinds of drinks available, or is it just seems like he makes literally fucking everything?
It doesn't appear to be. He doesn't appear to be the only one making sort of brewing concoctions and ales and other potions and stuff. You can see a number of other individuals doing the same thing, and you can see that there are a number of other sort of bottles along the walls that are on prominent display here.
Well, having zero idea, Vellum will just sort of hack on to the end of his statement. One for me as well, while you're there.
The barkeep gives another nod, and eventually brings the both of you these. Actually, let's see, Ember Elixir. Yeah, these sort of fiery orange liquid filled glass vials. This seems to be one of the themes of the place, styling their brews as potions in bottles and elixirs and that sort of stuff.
Oh, is this one of them fucking kitschy places where they do like science themes and it's just like emulsified whatever and shit?
Yes, but alchemy.
Oh god, it's cringe. It's fine, it's ahead of its time. Maybe too ahead of its time. Sorry, just a moment. Ah, the damn cough is still clinging. Anyway, with the drinks in tow, go off and find a nice comfortable spot.
All right. As you both find, we'll say a comfortable looking table. We're going to say next to this business meeting, as Liska put it.
Convenient. As they sit down, Vellum, before even taking a sip of his probably very expensive drink, will just casually remark, So, how deep in the hole has this put me?
I didn't catch that.
How deep in the hole has this put me? Remarking on the price of the drink. He says so with a wry smile.
Well, about 100 gold.
Oh. Is that a glass or a bottle?
An entire bottle, yes.
Okay. If it was glass, I might have had an issue.
I tell you what. She kind of rummages around in her what appears to be this sort of small purse she keeps on her side, and you can see her hand sort of goes deep enough to where you probably recognise this as like some sort of purse of holding, and
Purse of holding, yeah.
yeah, and takes out 2 platinum coins.
No.
Of the total cost.
Deal's a deal. We had a wager.
Oh, very well. And with that, she kind of sneaks them back into her purse.
Well, I'm a man of my word. I was buying you that drink in particular. Then with kind of like... Oops, sorry, go on.
She gives you this sort of wry smile and says in this playful and slightly mocking gesture, "Oh, you're such a gentleman."
Well, I do stick to my word. I suppose you can call that gentlemanly.
And he sort of, with a great deal of hesitance, takes a sip of his drink, regretting like getting the same one as she did.
You both she actually as you're kind of taking a sip of your drink, she holds up hers. To future business. May it be successful.
And to lucrative ventures. And he'll clink.
Tink. And as you both take a sip, you feel this sort of warm sensation down your throat and throughout your body as well. The slight regurgitating of air comes out in a belch, and you see this very faint flame emit from Varesh's mouth.
Not what I expected.
There is a
Can't
lot.
say I'm too surprised.
There is a lot you should not expect here in the Ember Room, especially with what they sell. Quite a pricey venture. But this place attracts only the wealthiest of clients.
Which explains their markups.
Oh, indeed.
And he'll sort of like, he's still like, his sip was the tiniest sip you could imagine.
I might nurse this for a bit.
A wise move. And with that, because DM is shit at small talk.
It's fine, we don't have to do small talk. We can assume that small talk exists.
Yeah.
And time.
Let's see here.
Now you can bring them in if you really want to.
Okay. So, with that, we will say Angus and Sayun make their entry into the Ember Room.
Dramatic entrance. Let's go.
How do you enter? If anything, if any dramatic entrances.
Boldly.
Did you say boldly or baldly?
Boldly or
Both.
As you enter,
Polished, shiny head.
the fiery
Radiant, glowing in my prime.
the fiery glint of the torches glints off of your bald head, reflecting in onto some of the nearby the nearby bottles and glasses that are sort of arrayed around the number of the tables here. The rest of you see,
Light show.
yeah, The rest of you catch this telltale glint of light in the corner of your eye as Angus enters with Sayu and Into.
The man can't even stealth out of armor.
No.
It's all about that
Just
swag.
fuck it. He rocks up. Just stands in the threshold for a minute. Kind of looks left to right on the pipe. And saunters forward. The hand that comes up to hold his bike is also the hand that is covered in the signet rings and all the fancy jewelry.
There you go.
Look at
Yeah,
me.
sure.
You've got the Rune Lord's ring, the signet ring of the Confederation of Clancrafts. You've got, I imagine, some sort of signet ring of
Mortholm.
of Mortholm, and I imagine also a signet ring of Clan Silverhearth.
Oh yeah. The one of the Rune Lords is, about a nice looking chain hanging around his neck because
There
he
you go.
can't physically get it on a finger.
Well, yeah, there you go.
It's like an invisible wall of force. So he's just absolutely just dripped. Yeah, with the dwarven pimpan. Very well said.
The rest of you see that this immaculate dwarf and an immaculate orc kind of make their way into the Ember Room.
I imagine I immediately can recognize Liska as being the only Liska.
Oh yeah. Liska's very hot in this.
Yes, she is. Thank goodness.
You also see
Yeah.
Velum, Varesh, and Dajar as well as these two talking to Liska and Dajar talking to these two strangers in the midst.
Great.
Well, seems like the others are preoccupied for the most part.
A bit busy, it seems. Well, let's get to a wee bit of socialising. Start with some drinks. Head over to the bar. Wait a minute. Kind of squints. I recognise that ponytail. He calls out, Velum?
I was muted, sorry. Huh? What? Oh. Hey, Angus.
Mr. Harbridge raises a brow and looks between him and Varesh.
Mr.
Am I interrupting?
Brackenbrick.
Should I sit elsewhere?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Varesh looks
Am I
to you.
interrupting? Should I sit elsewhere?
I don't believe so. Are you open to, more company, Miss Radmond?
By all means, we have plenty of space. She kind of shuffles along.
Ah, very well then.
Cup of squat there, Angus, and, at that point, he fucking finally picks up on, who else is there, not even realizing who
Yeah.
it is.
Mitsuji's just pulling out the stool. Right, there you go, Sal.
Thank you.
Ugh.
And hello, Venom.
Hey,
There's just a raised eyebrow from her to Venom. And so she just sort of slightly glances over to Varesh, asking if she did something to him or it's just the drinks. Like, non-verbally.
you see that there's like a fucking, the smallest bit of his glass missing. He actually accidentally spilled some as he was, in the midway of getting a drink. Like, he was just raising it as Angus was sitting down, and then he looked and just... you definitely look different. Good different.
Well, it is the first time for everything, and, well, she just sort of... She doesn't... She can't really do the spin thing, because that feels like not very fitting for this place, but she just sort of turns slightly. It is something.
And I'm assuming that's that's what Angus needed all that measurement for.
It is at that point she just side glares to Angus. She's not angry, but there is that glare.
Why is she glaring at Angus?
Remarked on Angus needing this is what Angus needed the measurements for, I assume.
Oh, aye. I made sure Lady Talok had the right ones.
They should have still been up to date. So does it fit all right? And it looks
He just trails off, doesn't finish the sentence.
It's a little tight here and there, but yeah, it fits.
He's per design. Apparently that's quite a popular style over there in is it Celestial Dragon, is that? Am I saying it right?
Close enough. Empire of the Celestial Dragon.
Aye. Aye.
right. I'll get you two some drinks then. Do you need anything else, Miss Rasmus, while I'm up?
Oh, I am fine, Willem dear, thank you.
And he will scurry away. And then moments later, you'll just hear in the earring, Angus.
Right. What did you guys want again? I forgot to ask.
I'm trying not to crack up as much as you are right now.
You know, the chuckling also comes through the earring. It's just, buddy, we didn't even get to look at the menu.
Right. I'll ask if they got one.
Do they have the typical drinks menus, Jenner?
Yeah, they do have, you know, typical
wine list sort of deal.
Yeah. They do have that sort of thing. The drinks that you'll see in the vendor sort of menu for this, that will be the
Vendor
very
menu.
Yeah. Hang on, I will.
Oh yeah.
Just see Willem's token just like swing all over the place. Like, where's the vending menu?
My
There you
brain
go.
forgot that we've been buying from her for the past several weeks. Or it, rather. Sorry.
Okay, very funny name, Pattern Janner. The gin and tonic.
Fucking
Oh, I hate you.
completely out of this.
Bloody Malith instead of Bloody Mary.
Oh, these are
Could
good.
be. Ooh.
Mystic Mule.
Yes.
Instead of Moscow Mule. Nice.
Arano tonic.
I think Tishar would have bought this at least.
I'll buy it up then.
This is just fantastic.
As you're kind of perusing the menu, you see sort of off on the other side of the room, this cluster of this cluster of nobles sort of enjoying themselves, talking amongst each other, having their own drinks, and you see one of them sort of lift up his head, and this spews this small plume of fire up into the air. Thankfully, this place is made of stone, doesn't catch. But you can see a number of them. Just you hear this uproar of raucous laughter. There seems to be a number of effects that come with these drinks.
Oh dear. Good that there's a vendor menu for it, so I don't have to manually fuck about with the money. Does make it more painful to have to buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's steep.
Yep.
What
Well,
the fuck
wages
did
to
you
wager.
expect?
Oh no, I fully expected it. Wager's a wager, but it's still, it's like, ooh. I'm glad I didn't spend most of my money then. Don't want to look like a broke bitch in the Ember Room.
So, as
but yes, are the menus like on the table? Are they at the bar? What's the deal?
they are given to you at the table. You know, it's sort of these wooden plaques that they give you, kind of burned with the wording is sort of burned into them.
Ah, right. Again, through the earring to Angus. Oh, the menus are on the tables. I'm already up here, so just let me know what you two want.
Well, what do you? I'm looking at the honeydew spiced ale.
So, as you're both you're all kind of deciding over the menu here, shall we pan back to Dejar and Liska?
Yeah, sure.
Bidding while we're getting drinks.
Yeah.
Because
I gotta,
yeah.
I gotta make sure to settle accounts later on because I've got a tab open.
So as the topic kind of has moved on to this key to unlock this tomb, Tuli continues. The pyramid could very well hold the key to unlocking the rest of the tomb secrets. Whenever you can get your hands on it next, we'd like to study it as soon as possible.
Well, we already have it in possession. One of us do it. The Angus Brackenbrick is our current cleric dwarf. Who have the key?
Where is Angus now?
He would go after early. Angus, where are you at right now?
He's on the table right next to you.
Liska's gonna point.
I'm about
Yeah,
And so he
15
goes and
feet
talking
to your
to
right.
just as you ready.
they don't
I
know
love that. She's probably just facing away from them, doesn't realize.
they don't know what you look like.
I'm about 15 feet to your right and behind you. And then in person, you hear, "About over here, Mr. Jar."
He just
As-
stops.
As the entire
Right.
as your entire table, Ida and Tuli kind of look over their shoulders to the table next to them, kind of peeking out from around the corner. Oh,
Right.
it's
There you are.
Ida goes, hello. I presume you're the companions of Miss Magier and Miss Aluma?
Well, yes, we would be. We're the members of the Hammer Strike along with her. Aye, and travelling companions beyond that.
Fabulous. Would you care to join us? There's plenty of room. I took the liberty of booking one of the largest tables in advance here.
He's gonna kind of look from his party to theirs. I'd be happy to. May I ask you if there's a special occasion, or is it purely social?
Partly social, partly business. There's something I would like to run by all of you.
Social and business, my favourite.
I was in contact with the Archmage, Mr. Azcatl.
Oh! I was about to
Right.
go as well.
Come, please, do sit.
President,
Alright.
I'll just move over.
That's the case then.
And
Up we go. I'm
with
gonna
that-
hops up off the tall stool.
Yep. Making your way over around the corner to the next table, kind of Tuli and Ida kind of shuffle over to make room for the both of you. I am Ida Ulnerim, and she kind of holds out a hand to each of you.
Oh. Dates here is Saoun Greymind, and I am Angus Brackenbrick.
Tuli extends a hand as well. Tuli Ulverda.
Pleasures.
Please, do introduce the rest of yourselves. I'd like to put some names to faces.
As mentioned, I am Sawyer. Pleased to meet you, though if I seem nervous or awkward, this is my first time in a, well, truly formal setting.
Ah. Understandable. And you? She kind of looks over to you, Vellum.
Who at this point is coming back.
Is he back?
I'll say he's on his way back, just for the sake of ease of
Oh,
introduction.
right, yeah.
Yeah, he went to he fucking fled. Didn't get drinks.
At which point, seeing him coming back with the drink, oh, we shifted tables over here, lad.
No, alright then. We'll just come back, plop the drinks down accordingly.
Ah, and this is our master smith.
Oh, Vellum Harbridge, a pleasure. And he'll extend his hand to Ida first and foremost, since she seems to be the front runner here.
A pleasure. And she kind of takes her hand, shakes it. Well, we've been in conversation with dear Lisker and Dejar here about the potential of this exciting expedition into the Tomb of the Dragon Rider. I've been informed by the Archmage, Mr. Ascarol, that you have in your possession the key to access this place. But Dejar informs
so
me.
you were the one I meant to meet.
Ah, yes. Dejar informs me that she doesn't have it. It's in the possession of, it's in your possession, I believe, Angus. Mr. Brackenbrick.
That's correct. Please, Angus is fine. It is. I have it, along with the key to many Akteshi Kut tombs.
Well,
I wasn't able to solve it, but as cattle was.
very good. Tuli and I would love to study it and perhaps see if there's any further steps to unlock the tomb. The Akteshi love their complicated puzzles and esoteric riddles.
Of course. I'll have to get that as he goes to his bag of holding. Oh, while I do, would you just remind me, what was the position that you held and I was meant to be meeting you?
Oh, I am the head archivist at the Maroon Palace.
And where was I meant to meet you or be led to?
Well, here, of course. We came here from the. Hang on, I'm just gonna gather my notes here.
To be fair, you are slinging around a lot of names.
Yeah.
Yep.
18.
I'm just enjoying reading some of these things. They're fascinating.
Oh yeah, Bloody Mallet is just pretty dang good.
Oh yeah.
Tuli and I came here from the Artel grasslands, from the dig site that we've been heading here, heading there at the tomb's dig site.
With 21 insight, this seems
Did
genuine
you
and
cast
checks out with
guidance
the...
at the table talking to her?
Actually, no. Thank you. That's part of it. So let me take off 3. So that's 17.
17?
18.
17 insight. Does
18.
with 3.
21
18,
minus
fuck.
3 is 18. Yeah.
I'm so used to getting 4s. Fucking yeah, 18.
Best you can tell.
18 insight. Does this information check out with what I was told and who I should be meeting with?
Best you can tell. Ida seems very honest and open.
Fantastic. That quite matches up with what I should expect. No offense to you, just the nature of dealing with these types of objects. I was told to be a bit cautious.
Understandable.
At which point he then retrieves the pyramid.
Ida kind of holds hands out. May I?
Of course.
She kind of takes the puzzle pyramid from you with great care, sort of delicately holding it in her hands as she examines it closely. And she pulls out flips out a pair of spectacles from the folds of her dress and kind of places them on the end of her nose. And she studies these intricate carvings and symbols etched into the surface of the pyramid, kind of running her fingers over the smooth stone to feel its texture, and she turns it over in her hands, examining each side and angle to get some sort of better understanding of its design and construction. And as she does so, her eyes light up with excitement and curiosity. It tells me you found this in the Morbog. Can you expand upon that?
Oh boy. You want to tell it, Angus, or should
there
I?
we go. Out of character, jog my memory. This wasn't found within Morthholm, right?
No. This was
treasures.
Yeah, this was found in the Morbog itself at a Black Dragonborn excavation site.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, from what I recall, unfortunately some of that period was a bit hazy, as the Morbog tends to do to your mind. We had been on an excursion for around a week or so inward, and been dealing with various digging sites, holes and the like of what turned out to be these black dragon men that had been terrible beasts as they are, digging away, searching for artifacts of power to return back to their now thrice deceased lord.
You notice that
this one... Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, this one I found at... I think this was one of their camps where we had ambushed some of the Lord, or was that an earlier one? Dejal, do you recall the specifics?
We found before the ambush, one before the ambush. The pyramid, I think, was after the ambush. I'm certain of it.
That was from the loot that we reclaimed, eh?
Yes, after we rescued some of the, at least 2 prisoners, a scout and an interesting ally. Well,
I recall. The bluish white one.
Diamond.
Diamond, even better. I don't recall her name, but it's not important for this story. But from one of the mini dig sites around a week or so into the bog.
both kind
Well,
of
at our pace, it would have been 2, I would say, on foot.
they both kind of exchange puzzled glances at each other, Ida and Tuli. You see, which is Ida pulls out a wand from the folds of her elegant dress and sort of holds it out towards the pyramid. And as she focuses her will, the wand begins to emit this faint bluish glow. And she sort of waves the wand slowly around the puzzle pyramid, her eyes closed in concentration. And as the wand sort of passes over the pyramid, her eyes open with this look of wonder. She studies the pyramid intently, her gaze sort of tracing the intricate patterns etched into its surface, as if trying to decipher the hidden meaning behind them. And after a moment, she nods in satisfaction and turns to you, Deja. This is a powerful artifact. Her voice is kind of filled with awe. The Akteshi were truly masters of magic to have created something like this. There's no wonder that the tomb was sealed for so long. It would seem, as she kind of turns to the rest of you, it would seem that this pyramid has some use beyond unlocking the tomb's entrance. It may be able to unlock more secrets within. At least that's my understanding of it.
Aye, such a thing tends to be fairly common when you're dealing with Akteshi works. There is an inspiration in regard to how the hidden city, Morthholm, Acclaim, works. Sometimes things will react to the mere presence, others the touch, or the recital of words. At least that's how it was inspired and modelled after Akteshi language and magics, so we may be able to expect something similar.
Indeed. And Tuli sort of interjects. The Akteshi were known for their magical prowess. The tombs are often littered with traps and spells to deter would-be tomb robbers. The exact nature of the traps and defenses in the tomb of the Dragon Rider is unknown, but we've not yet managed to gain entry. However, yes?
I hope they're not as vicious as in Morthholm.
Well, based on our experiences with other Akteshi tombs, we can infer that they are likely employed a variety of magical wards, guardians and spells to protect their treasures.
Oh, so you mean like elemental slaves, as it were?
Perhaps, Ida says. It's important to note that the Akteshi were not only skilled in destructive magics, but also in subtle magics, illusions, enchantments, which could prove just as dangerous as more overt traps. Additionally,
and with such a noteworthy figure, I sense that we should be ready for just about anything.
I imagine so, yes. What Deja said about elemental spirits rings true. The Akteshi had a deep connection to the elemental spirits, and could have used their powers to create traps and defenses based on those elements.
I think we encountered two tombs, one before going into the Morbog and one in, I think it was the mountains? Stones?
There was a mountain peak several days to the northeast of here.
That one was dealing with frost. The other one was a shaman of sorts. Didn't really have his name. It was kind of worn down.
That one was difficult. Though, if I see, I have the staff at the back with the steam hammer, and I could do it with that. But if you do have the flame plaque still. I can use magic upon it and learn legends of its lore. And from that I can even see notable persons that have held it.
I do.
And that could allow me to define the name. Though I don't believe I have that ready at the moment.
I just hold up a small little crystal that seems to radiate blue and red energies within it. I have it. It's safely tucked away.
Very good.
Granted, if you have any questions about this tomb, Tuli and I would be more than happy to answer.
I do have one. Did it seem like to go down deep? Or is it all above ground?
Well, none of us have actually seen inside of the tomb. We would be delving into the unknown. We have attempted to use scrying spells to map out the interior of the tomb, but the walls have blocked it.
Can't be much deeper than the cities or the mining expedition we went on to in Doom Hollow. That was quite far down.
Morthholm was yay deep, so that's the reason.
Maybe the nature of giants, what is deep for us may be shallow for them.
A fair point.
More space required means more space for tunnels. Thus it goes deeper.
An insightful point,
That's a fair point.
Mr. Harbridge.
Please, call me Bellum.
Bellum.
If I could actually expand upon that. Do we know about how old this tomb should be?
Well, according to our knowledge of Akteshi history, the Tomb of the Dragon Rider was constructed during the apex of the Akteshi's power. At the time, the giant...
So she just... you guys just saying that out loud to herself, think...
At the time, the giant kin reigned over Tanzia and beyond, and their dragon riders acted as conquerors and warlords. The tomb itself was designed to serve as a monument to these great giants, and to accommodate the bond, or to commemorate the bond between the Akteshi and their dragon mounts. It's believed that many of the most prominent dragon riders of their time are entombed within these walls. However, despite what we know about the tomb, it's difficult to determine what other secrets it may hold, as with any ancient tomb.
Well...
One?
There's... The archivist did mention about powerful weapons, each specifically being tied to a clan. Frost,
Yes.
lightning, and, you know...
Yes, these the giants were one of the great, among the greatest craftsmen in the world for their time. These weapons, while they might be their time, yes. These weapons, while they might be powerful to us, were commonplace among dragon riders during the height of their civilization. They were crafted to imbue their wielders with the power and essence of the chromatic dragonflight that inspired their design. Each weapon is supposedly unique, with its own set of magical properties and abilities that could prove to be invaluable to the study that we and Etzel are collaborating on back at the temple. And she kind of looks at you intently, Deja. Make no mistake, retrieving these weapons will not be an easy task. From our research on these tombs, such places are fraught with peril, filled with traps and guardians that have kept themselves sealed for millennia. And even if we manage to make it past those obstacles, there's no telling what other dangers we may encounter within.
Aye.
It could possibly making a fool of ourselves.
I'm reminded of the saying, hindsight is eagle-eyed, but foresight is four-eyed. As he points towards her glasses. We should be mindful to think of traps that may be in there from the perspective of giants in the time of the Akteshi Empire, and who the more recent invaders may be, or if they had the ability to sort of think of the future, how they thought we may have changed in time.
Indeed.
If we can put the perspective of past into it, we may be able to understand what lay awaits. Today's traps is not the same as theirs.
Also, one rather disturbing fact that we have learned is that when the tomb was sealed, many of their human, dwarf and halfling servants were entombed alive along with their deceased giant masters. And as a result, it's clear that the weapons that Etzel desires are likely to be well protected. There's no telling how these traps may utilize these entombed servants within.
If it's in...
we can fairly call them what they are, as slaves. That said, odd thing. I'm curious how these entombed may manifest, as spirits or preserved as skeletons or even mummified.
It could be all three.
Any clue?
Unfortunately, that information is not known to us.
I see.
Even you say the tomb was sealed with them inside, and what I've seen of dwarven architecture, which I can assume takes some inspiration from giant, it's most likely it's airtight in some regard.
Beyond that, I'd say it is as tight as the filament itself. Wards and magic are there as barriers.
Either way, we are likely looking at either pockets of still dead air or, well, anything really.
You do remember that one time when we went down into Moss Home? Proximity magic. We could be walking in and get sealed with a trap. One that could...
It's quite possible.
There is
I
also...
could absolutely see them doing the same.
There is also the very easy risk of getting lost within the tomb, as Tori interjects. So I would recommend that you stick together. Ada has dragged me into exploring many ruins before, she says with this wry smile. But we've seen our fair share of frightful things throughout our lives, so we can look after ourselves quite easily. It may even be advantageous to split into two parties to more easily map out the tomb.
That was leading into my next question, if I may. Clearly you are an expert of the architecture of these sorts of ruins. Obviously you've not been able to see the insides of this place, but based on the trends of what places you have seen, would they likely be labyrinthian in nature?
Well, I would imagine so. From what I've seen in previous Akteshi tombs.
I will probably be preparing a blank map or drawing as we venture in.
I'll definitely have something to disrupt wards. Definitely prepared for this.
Be smart
If not
thinking,
more so.
Dejar.
And I will just fuck shit up if it gets in our way.
As you do, Liska.
Yep. Oh, by the way,
Could be.
like, I was thinking about, you were speaking of dead air and, you know, how we might suffocate down there or something. We spoke, like, the other night, oh man, it might have been just earlier tonight. Time's weird. About how, like, going underwater, we know Dejar had an ability to grant us breathing underwater, but didn't Sal say she had something that would allow us to have, like, clean air around our heads or something?
Yes, it's something I've been kind of tinkering with, though it gives about a day's worth of air.
Well, see, there you go.
I can only use it on one person at a time, but it's doable.
That could
As in, I
be,
can only cast it on one person at a time.
it could be useful.
Quick question, just for the sake of clarity. We've obviously been enlisted to aid in the spelunking of this place, but do you intend to join us within as well?
Oh, well, I consider myself a well-traveled archaeologist. I have a deep passion for uncovering the mysteries of ancient civilizations. The Akteshi civilization in particular has fascinated me for years. The tomb we're attempting to access is said to contain priceless artifacts and knowledge that could shed light on the Akteshi culture, particularly their fascinating relationship with dragons. It's a rare opportunity for me to uncover lost history, learn from the past. Also, as an artifact hunter, I take great pride in discovering valuable treasures and adding them to my collection with the proper permission, of course. I believe
You enjoy
With a
getting
British accent saying that? That's funny.
so you enjoy getting your hands dirty instead of just the administrative end of
oh,
handling
most
the
certainly.
site.
It's rather exciting, is it not?
Star's just throwing Vellum a sort of side glance. Really, like, the wording.
Dude, you know he's oblivious. And clearly you are, from experience, very capable at handling yourselves should the need arise, yes?
Eden nods. Tully also nods. Is someone who considers themselves very much in tune with the natural world. I'm also interested in delving into this tomb. I'm always interested in learning about different cultures, relationships with nature and the spirits that inhabit it. From what I've heard, the Akteshi had a unique and complex relationship with the elemental spirits. I'm curious to see if there's anything we can learn from their practices. If there's any lessons that we can apply to our own understanding of the natural world.
At the mention of that, Yara would look to Ida. Thank you for the book, but I was wondering, do you have any book about making? You only heard this possibly from one of her teachers. Making spells? Like, is that possible?
Oh, it's entirely possible. In fact, I believe I told you, dear, I've been working on a spell myself.
Oh, right. Wait a minute. Just. Okay. How does one learn to do that?
Well, I'm surprised you've not already learned it yourself at this point, Tashara. You are a very accomplished spellcaster.
I've had a lot on my mind.
All you would need is someone to walk you through it, I imagine.
Would be nice, yes. Wasn't sure if it was
Angus
like a
chimes
book
in.
or what.
And if we were to help you with this tomb, if you're already working on a spell, well, what if we talked of rewards or payment for risking our lives here? Perhaps you teaching her how to do so could be one of those forms.
Well, I was planning on teaching her, in any case.
All the better.
Perhaps,
You associate with good people, Tijar.
Winds of chance seem to point me in the right direction.
perhaps
all the same.
a demonstration, if you will. Might make things a bit clearer to you.
Please.
As,
May
oh.
I just say, before we start casting spells in here, are we sure it is okay? And she sort of gives a quick look around to the other guests within the Ember Room.
Oh, it's quite alright. It's quite harmless.
Plus, everybody else is burping flames and shit like that. I feel like it won't really stand out.
I thought you were gonna say shitting flames then.
Yeah, everybody else is just shitting flames.
That's your average Taco Bell right there.
It is one thing to take a drink and something happens, it's another to cast a spell.
Whiz bang, whiz bang.
Try the food.
I trust Ida, who is well versed and highly intelligent, to do something harmless.
I
Too
have
bad.
prior bad experience with someone casting spells in a within enclosed area.
Ah, yes. The Wizard's Conundrum. I've heard well of it.
Don't worry, it's not you this year.
I'm just, you know what? That's a story for another time. Because it piqued my curiosity, but I want to deal with this first.
Well,
Then Angus clearly speaks a bit louder so those in the immediate area can hear. Well then, I'm excited to see your demonstration of your magical performance. And then he looks just sort of back to Sayun like, now they're expecting something.
she gives a thankful nod and look.
Very well. And with that, she kind of gestures, and as Pippin, the sort of dark grey blue cat with vibrant violet eyes, kind of pops back up under the table, and kind of settles down, small satchel, and with a gesture, Ida kind of waves a hand. The satchel opens, and a number of drinks procured from the tavern are sort of oriented in front of all of you. Oh, Pippin dear, would you mind also getting the curtain? She kind of looks down towards that grey-blue cat, who kind of immediately hops off her lap, goes down, and kind of draws the curtain around, kind of deftly pulling it around your table to section off this corner of the Ember Room, veiling it from view. And once once the area is set, Ida begins sort of weaving a short incantation, speaking a phrase in demonic, and suddenly these three separate ethereal mage hands appear around her. Vroom, 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 vroom. Their movements synchronized. The mage hands sort of hover in the air and begin to rearrange and shuffle the ceramic wine glasses around the table. And Ida clears her throat before speaking. Mage Hand is a spell that most novice spellcasters can learn in their early years. However, I have developed a more advanced version of this spell, which I call Ulnerim's Many Hands. It's a simple spellcrafting exercise that I've taught to a number of my apprentices, and it's proved to be incredibly useful for handling multiple things at once, especially in my library, where I've a vast collection of scrolls, books, and tomes that need to be handled with care. She kind of pauses for a moment, looking at you, Dejal, with this thoughtful expression. What makes this spell unique is that not only can it handle multiple objects at once, but its many hands are also capable of dealing damage to potential attackers, should the need arise. However, I must emphasize that spellcrafting is not something that can be done overnight. It requires patience, dedication, deep understanding of the arcane or divine, depending on your area of expertise.
Makes sense.
And I believe, as part of your exercise in experimentation with spellcrafting, I've jotted this little spell here down in your new book.
Thank you very much. This is quite helpful, yes.
Perhaps we might also be able to work on your spellcrafting alongside your Draconic, if that's something that you would wish to do.
I would, yes. I haven't had enough study time, as it were. I spread myself too thin, so I'm refocused. That's a better way of doing it.
Of course. Well, if you ever wish to start work on this on spellcrafting, just send me a message, and I'll make sure to find the time. But regardless, do you have any more questions about this this delightful tomb we'll be delving into?
I do have some questions, if I may ask.
Of course.
Are you the one I should talk to about compensation for this, or is that the result of Azcatl?
Oh, that will be
That would
be with the Archmage.
The rewards were a bit vague, and if we're going to be risking our life in this tomb, I would like to make sure it's properly compensated. Now, are you the one, you mentioned studies earlier, are you the one that will be holding on to the artifacts we reclaim?
That would be Azcatl. I very much have interest in studying these artifacts, in these weapons as well. This is as part of my agreement with the Archmage. I'll be working with him to look into these artifacts, study their significance.
I see. Then I would also be interested in learning a bit of what you know, as I practice runecraft. From its golds to its magics, I can make quite a few. So, I would be very interested in hearing of your studies and results to see if it might help me better understand how I can create such artifacts myself. But I assume there's those few you want specifically. If there's any other little treasures of the tomb, do you mind if we partake in them?
Well, I would imagine you'd have to go through the local authorities to do that. It would be rather Sorry, hang
think
on. I've just lost my place in my notes. Hang on.
it's okay.
No problem. Perhaps I'll interrupt the pleasantries to be as clear. There's all sorts of valuable bits and bobs in these tunes, from coinage to perhaps smaller magical trinkets that don't quite hold the strength of your interest as these great weapons of the rivals.
Well,
No pay was talked about in great coins or value. And if we're not paid properly for it, normally finder's fees are a part of exploring these things. Do you hold personal objections to these?
well, it's not something that I would do. No, it's stealing part of a nation's history would be terribly impolite.
Angus, I'm going to have to talk to the Archmage about this. I also asked him let us get some ley stones as part of the payment. Talk to him more. Now
Yes.
I haven't talked to him at all since he is stressed with other work.
I can understand. But it's simply the businessman in me. If no mention of coin was pay or anything to do, then obviously what you get upon the job is also part of the payment. It's just... You are describing very great perils, unknown dangers, ages-old traps, bound souls and elementals, and this is a very dangerous excursion, one we are willing and able to do, but I just want to make sure that we're fairly compensated for it. And if we can't be by you, or if this is as Cattle's, the Archmage's burden, if he's not paying us enough, well, the pay has to come from somewhere.
Well, I'm certain that we can make contact with the Archmage and clarify the terms, and hopefully put to bed the issue of finding on arrival.
I'll do that
Hey.
later on tonight, if that's alright with you.
I think that would be grand. But it's just worth noting that if that is part of the payment, I would be prepared that we may salvage certain things to make better use of them.
I'll let that be known. Bring it up to him.
Of course, but that is more directed here at our expert.
Sa would follow that up with, don't worry about him massacring history. If anything, he would like to keep history alive and preserved.
Quite
But,
true.
and like Lady Edith said, authorities, it's different laws for different things. And you already
I
know how
understand.
our guide was felt about the tombs, and we did what we did up there. So, strong resistance.
I'll tell you what. If you join us in this expedition, I can certainly grant you some monetary compensation that one might describe as handsome.
That is quite fair. And if it's not your burden, and it's the Archmage, I don't expect you to pay out of pocket. If you're working under him, I expect him to. I think a fair term, if we're grabbing all of these artifacts, would just be perhaps the purchase value of the ones that we retain. That seems like very open market, very fair on a surface level.
Very well. That can certainly be done.
I would like to
course.
add one thing before I have to excuse myself for a moment. I would very much like to examine any artifacts we find, be it regular or magical. I'm something of a tinkerer. Artificer.
No, she's a straight genius.
A curious mind.
Of course.
A grey mite.
She just glares, but with a smirk.
Aye, but the point is, the reason we're so greatly interested is you have a prodigy mastersmith, a divine rune crafter, and a mechanically minded genius all at your table, who have made wonders. If you doubt me, just go outside and gaze upon the Silverhurst Steamhammer and see what we can do together.
I saw that.
It's absolutely...
rather ingenious contraption, that.
And a lot of its knowledge is based on the foundation of Erkteshi runes. I care about these artifacts, and understanding them, we all do, because we are all ingenuitive crafters. There's lessons to be learned in these things, and we just wish to make sure that if we partake in retrieving them for the betterment of all, what would you say, scholastic endeavours, we only wish to have the fruit of that labour shared with us. So if we could at least hear you talk passionately about the new and interesting discoveries, about little tidbits and how this reveals the secret to that, we're fellow enthusiasts. You will find great captive audience in us, and hopefully an equal discussion back. We're not just hired thugs looking for coin. We want fair compensation, aye. We don't want to be taken advantage of, but part of that fair compensation can rightly be our study of these along with you. How does that sound?
At the mention of that, Ida's eyes light up. Oh, that would be marvelous. It's very rare to find anyone who's as enthusiastic about the history of the Erkteshi civilization as we are. And she kind of looks to Ida with a smile.
And he's just gonna drop and chat.
Big old words.
As he speaks in an unusual tongue he's only spoken perhaps twice before.
Ida seems to follow it up with this strange guttural language that matches Angus's tone, and you hear in Giant, Angus, you speak the Giant tongue as well.
Indeed I do. I have learned since a young age that it is the foundation of my people. I care greatly.
Fascinating.
I write as well, with their same magics.
This beaming smile. And very quickly, this three-way conversation between individuals.
Sorry, we were just linguistically enraptured. Aye. As he kind of nods, looking between the two.
Apologies.
The meeting of the mind.
Apologies, very impolite of us. But
It's quite open. I imagine whatever languages you were speaking are not commonplace. If I may.
Erkteshi.
We obviously, well, we may be keen of mind in our respective fields. We lack the archaeological insights, so I trust that we can rely on you to identify potential points of interest, probable threats in terms of its structure.
Oh, certainly. But I imagine if we are to be mapping out this place at a very swift pace, Ida and I will... No, sorry. Then Tuli and I will probably be splitting paths with you as soon as we can. We can look after ourselves, but you might have to rely on Miss Majir and Angus's know-how with the giant tongue to guide your way.
Of course. I meant merely in the case of our likely temporary togetherness within the two.
Of course.
I do have a question. How far away is the tomb from here?
Oh, it's quite the distance. If we were to travel on foot, it would take us a number of days. Thankfully, I have organised a travel arrangement. Dajar, I believe I told you this a number of days ago. Are you all comfortable with teleportation?
Yes, I do remember. No, I think we forgot.
I am. Oh, that reminds me. I got permission for us to use the lodestone, the circle here. We should attune to that before we teleport away.
Ah, wonderful.
I would
like to possibly ask that we take the road on foot. I have an idea also in terms of carrying artifacts away safely. I believe the steam hammer could offer a relative bounty of storage.
My steam hammer will travel twice as fast as you would expect a normal horse-pulled caravan. How many days away do you think it would be for a cart at double pace?
Let me actually check the map. See, world maps, map of Tanzia.
We'll continue on. To expand upon what you said, Sire, I'm curious, with all the magics and the words, if perhaps teleportation may be something they are common sense enough to ward against, even if not to let you in, but rather not to let you out. Perhaps the artifacts themselves are scribed so they cannot teleport away.
Oh, I'm not talking about teleporting into the tomb. No, that'd be very dangerous with all those wards. I'm talking about teleporting to the dig site outside.
What was discussed between me and Lady Ida.
Exactly. The tomb itself is about 375 miles away from here, if my calculations are correct.
It is quite a bit away.
Hence the reason for teleportation. Makes it easier rather than going on foot. Also, my spell of storage through crystal can ease the fact of carrying artifacts.
It'd take me about 4 days.
Plus, going there and then teleporting to, well, the Library of Quasali, instead of trucking it back by foot.
What is your preference? As she kind of looks around the group.
Well, Sayun, what would you think be the benefit of taking the steam hammer?
Mostly it's in the event of us finding a large quantity of, well, for lack of a better term, and excuse the kind of crudeness of it, a buried treasure. I know we have bags of holding and she gestures sort of to Liska, the portable hole, which you carry, but I also know there's a limit to those.
You
In
do
the event
really-
that we can safely go in and out and retrieve more, the steam hammer would offer plenty of storage and haulability.
This does raise the issue of not only just as much time spent journeying back, but we would end up having to carry all of the supposed riches out of the ruins in the first place.
It's the reason why I feel with a particular spell, Amber Vault, or Crystal Vault, really, I would ease that. Don't have to carry. We just carry one
Right.
stone.
My general preference weighs both ways. Teleportation makes it faster and easier to get to and from the location, but I also know that well, Angus is very prideful of his creation and would rather not leave it unattended.
This is
Now,
true.
question, how do you feel about that, Angus? I imagine it would only be for a matter of days, most likely, but it is your baby.
I don't mind it being left here in Resort, for the most part. I don't believe that it would be at risk, considering you have to have a special means to start it, that I do, and no such vehicles like it truly exists. Maybe outside of Torment, as he looks to Liska. But even then, it's still of a unique design where it would be nigh impossible to drive if you could start it.
And that, and I imagine the those who tend to the storage of such vehicles, it's in their best interest to keep them well guarded. I imagine they have a reputation to uphold, and that would be greatly harmed if their patrons were robbed of their vehicles.
Eh? Which is one of the reasons why I'm not too terribly concerned.
Well, it seems everyone's alright with the notion of teleportation then.
Very well then. So,
Perhaps we can grab an additional bag or two, so that way we can haul out what you want, so. That's a good compromise?
Sounds good to me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to use the restroom.
Hey.
Oh,
You leaving then?
No, I'm still here.
I think that's one of our, yeah, oh, there's Gab.
Yeah, it was Gababo.
But yeah,
Goodbye.
I actually need to use the restroom, so perfect time.
Alright.
Perfect.
Good acting.
I will pipe up. Ida, there is some private matters I want to discuss alone.
of course.
And he will make a way to leave the scene.
Well, I do
Probably-
hope once matters are completed, you'd still like to join us for drinks. Seems only polite after discussing business after all.
Yeah, do to Jar.
Essentially saying when you're done with that, we feel free to continue to enjoy drinks with us.
Oh, by all means, of course. If Julie and I are to explore the depths of these tombs with you, it'd be rather rude not to get to know you. But
Right.
one moment.
Of course.
And with that, she kind of steps away for a moment, goes to ups over to you, Dejar, in this sort of private corner, away from the sight for the meantime. If this is something you'd wish to do in DMs, we can do it later.
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
After if anyone wants to strike up conversation with Tuli, they can feel free to do so. Otherwise, Ida and Dejar.
Yes, but it will be after, after whatever private discussion they have is concluded.
All right.
Unless Liska wants to do something, because I know she's chatting a certain somebody up in the background.
I mean, yeah, she's been talking to Tuli, but that's its own thing.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you didn't want to bring it to the front focus.
I mean, if we can, if we want to. I'm not against it.
I mean, that's up to you.
We can talk in a
That's
bit.
up to you.
You want to have some voice roleplay action?
Sure, why not?
I can come after.
So
How considerate.
this conversation has been sort of veering into the demonic language between Liska and Tuli, as the subject of being a wild speaker has shown itself, and Tuli asks, "A wild speaker of bear spirit? I've heard rumor of one other who's seeking the same position. How go the trials?"
Lucy just kind of makes like a small grimace. It's like she's too like well trained in like mountain folk culture to like show anger, but she makes the like essentially the equivalent mountain folk thing of like of brief annoyance, and it's like, yes, I also heard that she is aiming for the title. I will admit I was slightly worried when I heard the mountain folk would be accompanying Dejar's indulgence friend. I thought it would be her, but you are a far more pleasant surprise.
Yeah, just go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
Sure.
Let's
get
Riz
with
check.
her -1 charisma.
You never know.
Let's do this.
You never know.
Let's go.
14. Not bad.
Actually all right.
Not bad. There's a small
I
smile
come back
kind of.
to you rizzing up.
Now that you notice a slight smile across her face. Well, I thank you. I thought I was a little bit suspicious when Kima said she was traveling up north. I did not know what her endeavors were. I suppose now those rumors will be confirmed.
Yeah, it seems I have spent far too much time out of Ragnarok. I did not know that she was traveling up north. When did she leave?
Quite some number of months ago. I think start of the year. She said she needed to do some soul searching. Hearing the call of Bear Spirit.
Yes, it seems it is a very, very powerful call. But she just left her post. What about the twins? What about?
Akal is taking up Kima's role there.
This kid gets a small smile on her face. She's like it is. It is very interesting. One time I'm probably best suited to protect them is the time that I cannot. Sorry, I am. The Kime in my duel still sits a bit heavy.
I did sense some. I do not mean to delve too deeply. Is it bitterness that you feel?
A younger me, perhaps, in those decades ago. But now, and she kind of like touches the amulet that's hanging kind of incongruently amidst all the finery she's wearing. It is just lamentation of younger ignorance. I did not know.
Oh, sorry.
I did not know what all was could be afforded to me. I grew up in Torment. The Pantheon of the Wild was not quite known to me. I was one of martial prowess, and I did not know that these sorts of tools both afforded me a way to get better, but also a path of like-minded philosophy.
Is it a path that you chose for yourself?
It was a path I did not know I was walking. It was one that Bor opened my eyes to.
The spirits do work in very odd ways. I was not aware of the wild spirits until my early youth, growing up in the Abinwood Forest. It was the local satyrs that opened my eyes to it.
We have, and then Liska's gonna kind of like glance over to Sable, and then she's gonna look back at Thule.
Sable?
And, oh yeah, Vellum. Sorry.
Two very different words. You always.
I was glancing over at party chat. And it's going to look over at Vellum and then back to Thule. And can she just do, and this is a very spur of the moment kind of thing, she's not gonna like study her intensely, just do like a brief insight check to see nothing apparently, but just she's gonna be like, yeah, we happen to have a satyr that is accompanying us, a young child.
Oh. Where did you find her? Is
Oh, that is a very long and complicated story. She was in the dark underneath Unhollow, trapped there by some unknown means, and we managed to save her and get her out of the midst of a war.
her face sort of frowns, and you. It doesn't take too much of a large passive insight to see that. Like, there's a sort of expression of heartbreak. She's oh, that poor thing. Is she with you?
I mean, obviously not here, but yes, she's traveling with us. We look like we're. It looks like we are her guardians for the long foreseeable future.
Well, I should love to meet her at some point. It's very rare to see satyrs outside of their home groves.
Yes, that is correct. I had never actually seen one until I met her. I've spent most of my time in Torment and then traveling around Mayland. But, you know, traveling, Hunter's Keep, doing what I can to be a better fighter, a better defender. But it very serendipitous that I have been trying to better protect people, and I happen to find someone who needs protection.
A noble goal. Perhaps this was Bear Spirit's path that she offered you.
Well, it is a path I will walk down until my last breath, whenever that may be.
She gives you a nod. So, what are your plans for here in Itzel? Besides, boring
besides
business.
going, nothing really. In my time for the next few days are pretty open. I will be in a race. The day after
Gamelans
next.
races.
Yes, that is correct.
How
I
exciting.
happen to. It is. I try my best to find things like that. I happen to be very good at riding, and it's good to put those skills to the test.
Well, I shall be on the sidelines cheering you on. She gives you a smile.
I look forward to seeing you. What of your plans?
Tomorrow Tully and I were planning to explore the beautiful depths of the Actuin Gulf and do some deep sea pearl diving. We've heard that the Gulf has some of the most breathtaking underwater sights.
Oh, we. This just kind of gets a bit of surprise. Oh, we were actually thinking about doing exactly that as well.
Oh.
Would you like to join me, us, the group?
I will have to ask Ida, but we certainly can. I would probably clear it with the group as well.
Oh, right. And then she just kind of turns, like,
Yep.
"Hey, everybody! It just so happens that Thule and Ada are also going pearl diving in the Gulf. Do you wish to, like, more people, more eyes, more pearls?"
Well, I was getting a spice there. Oh, I think that would be pretty nice. Extra hand. If I sink too fast, somebody to help pull me up.
Very true.
Area certainly helps.
It's kind of at that moment Sao sort of returns and having insane passives. She just sort of peeks up a little since I returned in the right time. Some extra company. Though, Sao sort of gives Liska a look and then looks to Tuli. Are you sure?
Oh, I'm quite all right with the extra company. Ida kind of nods in agreement. We've been looking. Well, Tuli here has been looking forward to this since we've both arrived. In fact, we both planned on making a day of it, didn't we? You can't wait to see what's down there, can you? Tuli sort of nods in excitement. And Ida continues, we've been preparing a few spells to assist in our exploration. We've been picking out...
We wouldn't be interrupting, would we?
Oh, of course not, Many hands make light work, of course.
Of course, but you know, many hands can help unload a picnic, but it doesn't always mean you want them there, you know?
I invited them. They seem to be okay with going, Angus.
Okay. maybe I'm sorry, it's in my own discussion. I thought you had your own little kind of crosses his fingers thing going on there, and I wanted to make sure our group wasn't, butting in.
Oh, by no means.
Alright.
If we are planning on joining you, one thing I could possibly suggest is for everyone to pick out appropriate clothing and equipment for the day, so that we're definitely ready for the challenge. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find any guides that would be willing to join us. Apparently the depths are far too dangerous. But I think they underestimate our Ida and Tuli both look to each other with a wry grin. I think they underestimate our capabilities.
Well, you just have to prove them wrong.
And you would also have the hammer strike accompanying you.
Tuli adds, very true. Perhaps,
If there's something nasty down under there, we can take care of it. If I need to shift out some water out the way, you can do that. All sorts of options for us.
Ida gives a very impressed nod. Perhaps after our dive, we can. You can join us for some local cuisine, exploring what some of Itzel has to offer. I heard there's some fantastic seafood restaurants nearby.
I would hope so.
So I just sort of gives a sort of meek question out. But can it please be informally dressed?
I would sort of expect it. I can't see you diving with as beautiful as that dress is. It's not suited for the depths. She gives you a wry grin.
There's a partly thankful glint in Sal's eyes. As much as she likes the dress,
Sort of nods. Well, if we're going down there, I'll have to get me a swimsuit.
Oh, great.
Full body stripes.
Sorry.
Yep, here we go.
It's gonna happen.
It's happening.
Welcome back, Spice.
It's at that Liska. It's at that point you see kind of walking into the Ember Room is this highly decorated Tahosian warrior adorned in gilded splint armor, and there's two large dinosaur skulls adorning his pauldrons, and the skin of a displacer beast adorns his mantle. And the symbol of the Hunter's Keep is scarred upon his shoulder. And he looks around, seems to spot Grimbold Iron Tusk and his entourage, and kind of strikes up a conversation with him over a pint of ale.
Well, it looks like my time is now wanted, so it will be right back. And she kind of gives a nod to everybody, gives a second nod to Tuli, and then stands up and walks over to the gentleman.
All right.
He tries to reach out to you for one moment. Before you do go, and, again, from inside this smart little vest he has, he pulls out the contract. Do you wish to have this with you for negotiation of specifics, or do you want me to still hold on to it?
I mean, he would have a contract. He would have a copy of it. Like, I could get another. It is fine.
Very well. He puts it back in.
Like, she gives a nod, pats him, reaches way far down, pats him on the shoulder.
Thank you.
Well, he might be sitting up. He might be on a stool. He might be.
I'm actually a little bit taller because I'm up on a stool.
Exactly. So yeah,
You still have to reach way far down, but just not as much as normal.
Yeah. And then she's gonna walk over to the gentleman.
All right. So, as Ziska wanders off, Ida kind of continues very briefly the conversation and asks, "So, shall we make a day of it tomorrow? Meet at the beach at morning?"
Yes.
Morning sounds good. We should probably get Gronka as well.
Oh,
He's
I'm.
the only one of our group that is not present.
Ah, might be worth informing him. See if he's okay. Let's see if he's quite all right with the deep waters.
Take
I
off his
don't
ring.
think he likes water at all.
Oh, that might be an issue.
I mean, like, he's a cave dweller. He doesn't
See,
really know what the ocean is.
Is he a dwarf?
At this point, Sao
No,
sort of...
actually.
She gives a sort of weird paused thought and then looks to Angus a bit like, how do we explain this? Look,
Thing. Angus actually chimes up and gets quite into it. He seems to be a derivative of goblinoid that seems to be a evolutionary subspecies. Broken far off, thankfully, from the greenskin kind. Seems that he evolved alongside certain
So,
elemental influences.
so shall we sort of, shall we sort of transition over to Liska as he's explaining all of this?
He goes into detail describing, wow, this is quite different than normal goblins, and here's how.
So, as
Smooth.
yeah, smooth transition over to Liska's. Fade out the Angus's ramblings.
Yeah, it was a scholastic talk. You probably don't know of his speech.
Yeah. So as you approach this individual, Liska. I've just been speaking with the Lord here. You'll be Liska, correct?
That is correct, and I guess that makes you Vorsha.
Yes, Vorsha. I am Grand Hunter of the Tanzian Lodge. You are the new Grand Huntress of the Meland Lodge.
That is correct.
To see another similar station.
Definitely few and far between. Could I perhaps, and she kind of like motions off to the side, like kind of into a bit more private area.
You've been wanting to speak about this contract, eh? You're right.
That is correct.
Kind of breaks.
And just the sending of the Tanzian Hunter's Keep, I have heard some rumors that are unsettling.
Of course. One moment, he kind of breaks away conversation briefly from Grimbold Iron Tusk and follows suit away to a smaller, more private table in one corner of the Ember Room. He kind of orders a pint of ale for you, as well as him kind of to both sit down on the table. This man, his long mane of black braids frames him like almost like a sort of wild man, and he looks at you with a gaze wizened and honed by many years of dangerous hunts. A single thick scar trails down one side of his face over one milky white eye. He almost looks like a sort of a Tahosian human version of Rengar from League of Legends. What'd be on your mind?
Well, can you tell me the state of your keep?
Well, perhaps if I start from the beginning, and let me give you the rundown. Messias and I be pulled in. Got a lot of dangerous game. Rearing their heads all at once. Not be an uncommon thing to happen, but when one of them be outshining the rest as an imminent danger not just to the lodge, but the Empire as a whole. There not be much we can do, except focus all our efforts on bringing it down.
Do you need assistance?
We contacted others to give us some assistance. But we are more than happy any other assistance we can find abroad.
I happen to be traveling with a very extremely capable group of individuals, personal friends and allies, hunters as well, albeit new, but it seems that this is, as you say, a threat to the entirety of the Tanzia and the continent. I feel that we would not be remiss to have multiple keeps teaming up on this.
Perhaps. How well are ya? Slaying dragons.
She actually kind of laughs a bit at this, like, I guess my reputation does not precede me. I happen to be very good at it. It's like I have slain whites, blues, blacks, and greens. Only one that remains is red.
Vorsha pauses and slims his gaze for a moment. The slayers called this creature some sort of pale-bloated dragon. But the way it was described to me, did no dragon I ever heard of.
Liska, so Liska's gonna think back because if I recall correctly, rumors about this creature have been kind of floating about. Crothis, or son of, was it the sign of Crothis? I forget if Crothis was the name of the ancient dragon or...
Crothis, scion of the Frozen Rune.
Okay, yeah. So Crothis, I remember when crazy tentacle heads happened, did Crothis turn a different color? Or did he remain white?
Seemed to... It was difficult to say, because the way his body sort of split and sort of almost tore apart is very... well, the scales seem to remain the same colour, but mostly turn into like fleshy reds and pinks and stuff.
Okay. It's like, if this is the creature that I think it is, then it is actually a dragon that has already been slain, but due to some... She just gets just a look of pure disgust, black magics on behalf of a certain individual. He was brought back to life in this form that he is. So, yes, dragon, but perhaps not dragon.
Brought back by black magics, you see. You care to elaborate?
I wish I could, but magic has never been a strong suit of mine. I just know that there was... You don't sprout... Like, a creature whose head you cut off does not suddenly get up and sprout a bunch of... And she wiggles her fingers like tentacles and fly away. This is something that a member of a party I was in, a former member.
He pauses his drink, looks you kind of square in the eye, kind of almost sort of peering into that one working eye. You worked with the individual that created this thing?
Yes, in fact, I did before his his apparent death, and I even warned Ragnar of who he was and what was to be done. But it seems that either I was not taken seriously or just we did not react in time. Then again, ancient dragons are, especially the sign of frozen ruin, is not something to be trifled with even when he was alive.
There's this grim expression that comes over Vorsh's face. There be rumors of war coming to Tanzia. Feel it in my bones. Whatever
I've
this
heard
thing,
that as well.
whatever this thing be something to do with it.
Yes, it would seem the one that instigated the war is also the one that created this dragon.
I think this information will best be given to the Archmage. He knows about these types of things. All I can do, seek to kill whatever this thing be. And if you're willing to help, we could use all the help we can.
Always. That is what we at the Hunter's Keep do, does it not? Oh, and I guess for friends, you have the Bloodhorn contracts
Yes,
for
yes,
the dwarf lord over there.
I presume this friend of yours, Angus, gave you the details of the contract. He kind
It seems that
of shuffles around in a small satchel on the side and brings out a copy of the contract that Angus gave you. Kind of slides it over to you. Unconventional methods are business, to be sure. Not every day we outsource our contracts to other parties. But, like I said, my slayers and I be focused on a prime hunt right now.
Is there given what it is doing, is there a preferred time limit for this one? When it needs to be done?
It's using the contract right there, 30 days.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see that.
There you go. You gotta read the fine print.
Clear. I saw 5 days after accepting the contract. I don't see it.
Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Are
3 days.
you looking at the quest log?
Yeah.
Right. Hang on. Sorry. That's not updated. I need to
What the fuck, Janner? God.
Sorry, my bad. So no, the time limit is 30 days, so a month.
Okay. Like, we happen to be on a rather relatively tight schedule. I do not know if we can complete this, but then again, if we do help you with the issue in the Gulf, or across the Gulf, you can have some of your own hunters help in that regard, but...
This is true. We've been
Is there, Oh, sorry, continue.
Some of my slayers have had run-ins with this creature before. They're the ones who gave it the moniker of Bloodhorn. Its hide only took glancing blows from most weaponry, like it was mere steel. First heard word of its attacks 3 months ago. It attacked and slaughtered a caravan of dwarven traders travelling down the Tanzing wilds. That be when word must have gotten back to the clan, got some messages from the clan leader, Mr. Iron Tusk. I heard of the attack. Second attack after it slaughtered a herd of Trihorns. Didn't eat a single one.
Ah, so he's just rampant, huh? Killing for the sake of killing.
Yeah, it ain't from around here. Be an unnatural beast. I feel it in my gut. Only seen the aftermath of its slaughter so far, but I recognize a bloodthirst in the way it killed.
Have you been able to track its origin at all? Where it came from? Like, methodology of how it got to where it is now?
We've been tracking rumors of attacks coming all the way from... kind of remembers for a moment. All the way to the Actuan Mesas. Traveling down south.
What is... I am not familiar with your land. What... Is there anything unusual near the mesas?
Not to our knowledge, just a bunch of rumors about more caravans and herds attacked.
Well, I guess as of right now, the biggest threat might be this dragon. This Bloodhorn definitely is. And she just kind of gets a wry smile on her face, like, it definitely hurting dwarven businesses. But,
We've most of our resources be diverted to hunt that greater quarry by Emperor Tachan's will. I'll be sending hunting parties out to scout Bloodhorn's position and divert trading routes to safer passages through the Tantan Wilds.
Well, if you have any means of, like, in the next... Jeez, we have... This kid kind of realizes what her schedule's like. Like, geez, in the next few days we will be extremely busy. I tell you what, if you happen to find any information on Bloodhorn's whereabouts, we'll take up this contract.
Of course.
And we'll try to find and track it down as quickly as possible.
The last known location that my scouts revealed it to be was in the Tanzan Wilds.
That's it, Wilds. Okay.
I'm taking on some fucking Russian accent now.
I know.
It's contagious.
It's alright, I understand. Alright, well, Borsha, it has been nice to meet another Grand Hunter. And she, like, offers her hand.
Gives you a hunter's grip.
Yeah, even though he has a tiny little hand. Yeah, man. She's a big bitch. And, yeah, she's going to kind of stand up, push back from her chair, down the ale, and then start turning away, then stop, and then turn back like, oh, can I keep this contract? We have one, but I just want one for myself.
Very well.
Okay. And she will take it, roll it up.
And right before you leave, gives you he gives you a salute, kind of knocking the scar on his shoulder, and he kind of lifts up his ale. Eyes to the sky.
Fuck, I forgot what the...
You remember the keep, and you've got the oath. How could
It's
you?
like, I noticed it. Hunt 12.
Ice
like,
the
ears to the
sky,
ground.
ears to the ground. Well, there you go.
Well, sorry, Jenner, you forgot it, because it's ears to the ground first, then eyes to the sky. Alright?
Fuck!
Yeah.
Oh.
How about that? Liska says ears to the ground, he says eyes to the sky.
There you go.
Together they say hunt well.
And with that, he too downs the ale, slams it on the table, nods at you, and makes his way back to the rest of the dwarves.
then yeah, Liska's gonna come back to whatever the fuck they're doing,
Okay.
and look to Angus like, alright, we will take the contract, but we have a lot to do beforehand. And we might also have to go kill a undead question mark dragon. It's weird. Don't worry about it.
Oh, uh-oh.
Both Tuli and Ida give you very peculiar looks at that.
Oh,
Are
Liska.
we killing the
Undead
M-word again?
dragon.
No, there was, and she looks to the members of the group who actually were there. Looks to Vellum and sounds like, you remember what happened with Crothos?
That's pretty hard to forget.
A lot of things happen with Grothus.
Well, the big obvious one that stands out, Vellum.
Right. Sorry, hard to remember much besides the whole rock.
Yeah, no, I understand, but apparently the remnants of Crothus are hunting and wreaking havoc and destruction in the Gulf. So we might be called upon as hunters to go take care of it.
Funny enough, that is my bounty.
Oh, well then.
Oh, that works out.
What are your bounty? Wait, your bounty for what? In the keep?
Not the keep, Mages Guild.
Okay. Well, depending on what happens, we might get a bounty of our own in regards to Crothus. But
Why is the Mages Guild giving you a bounty for the Hunter's Keep job?
Reasons, I mean, it was being caused trouble from a mage in the Commonwealth realm. And somehow, when I was talking to one of my teachers, the Hunter's Keep in Dune Hollow could not help aid with that, so they gave it to me.
Oh, so they outsourced it to the mages lot.
Basically.
this is gonna kind of like tilt her head. Just like, why did I not hear of this? How long ago was this happening?
Remember when we were at Dune Hollow? After traveling back, you had to do give the adamantine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went back to the August Tower, and I was presented with that. I've been meaning to tell you about it, but a lot of stuff piled up.
Ida kind of interjects. Should I be privy to this conversation? It'd be rather rude of me to eavesdrop where I'm not meant to be involved.
Oh no, it's fine. It's in well-known contract. Well, not well-known, but it is an open one. Like,
So, this thing was going through Mayland, and the Hunter's Keep weren't able to do it?
Because of, from what I've known, talks from the Mages Guild and the Hunter's Keep. The Hunter's Keep in Dune Hollow is having paperwork issues with the king.
so I heard from Ragnar that that the king is actively strangling their capabilities for some reason.
Their hands are tied, and the Mages Guild needs to get this done and dealt with, since it could cause a rift between the Commonwealth and Mayland, from what I've been told from my teacher. So they gave it to me.
Why would he cause a rift between the Commonwealth and mainland if it's now over here in
It's
Tanzania?
not in Tanzania. That's the problem. It's in the jurisdiction of Mainland.
It travels around wreaking havoc.
Yes, but it's up north.
Nation problem.
The main
And-
issue here is it creates a rampant trail of destruction. Currently, no one really knows who guides it. At least bureaucracy. So they point fingers, they blame.
And the Commonwealth and Mainland is already dealing with enough shit of their own, I assume. Adding Tanzania into the mix, it's a whole big mess.
Yeah, it sounds like one.
So, I was given task since I'm a basically free roaming agent, does bounty hunting. I am not know the laws, can work within them, get the job done.
I see.
Well, it's definitely convenient. That it's lined up the way it has.
One might even say faithful.
What was it you said earlier, Dejal? The winds of fate and all that lark?
Not the winds of fate, it's just the coincidence. The winds of coincidence seem to blow in a particular direction.
That thing. Well, one more thing on our to-do list.
Also, I was deep in my own thoughts since I got back. You guys were talking about pearls?
Yes. We've been invited to Pearl Dive.
I need 3 of those, and
Oh, three pearls, is that all?
3 pearls and some. He goes into her bag of holding 30 spools of this rune gold thread for a particular robe.
What do you need just regular old pearl for? Oh, right. Are they magical?
No, it's magical. It's from what I was told from the owner of Koto Couture. It is going to be one of its kind.
Well,
I don't. The problem is, rune gold is scarce. I have no
Of
idea.
course it's scarce. It's a heavily
just-
restricted item.
Well,
as I was looking from the shard to Angus was just like, you could ask him.
Okay. Let me ask this. The Guild of Trade and Commerce. Do you know anything about that, Angus?
Of course. I'm within the guild. Well, it's a guild, but it's more of a confederation of the clan's craft. Works closely with the Guild of Trade and Commerce in order to hand the creation, sales, exports, and just general, well, all economics involved with any craft storeship. Certain things are going to be restricted as a result. If you don't want to flood markets and destroy the prices, or in the case of these specific items that are a bit of a national trade secret, you want to make sure they don't go in the wrong hands or too much where they can be reverse engineered. It's a highly competitive and controlled deal.
Well, the owner of the Koto Couture couldn't get her hands on it. I talked to my teacher, Reinhold Hammerstone, and he told me to talk to someone about the guild. So,
Reinhardt Hammerstone.
they,
Jenner, can I see if I know that name?
Reinhardt. Is it Reinhardt or
Reinhold.
Reinhold? Yes, Reinhold Hammerstone. He is the leader of the Sapphire Assembly.
Prominent enough name that, yeah,
Mhm.
you could probably know of it.
He is an archmage, or the archmage of the Sapphire Assembly.
That's the Archmage within Doonhollow, isn't it?
Yes, and he is my teacher. At least one of three.
Right. Okay. And with everything that's happening in Doonhollow, I have no surprise that there's some economic disruption going on at the moment. You can absolutely hear the dripping vitriol in his voice as he says that.
Economic restriction.
Yeah, about that.
Right. Rune gold may not even be currently being made. And if it is, it's, well, with everything happening, it's probably going to the mercenaries to outfit them and pad their gambesons.
You just hear the yard groan like, I need this.
Okay. How many spools do you need?
Hey. He just gets out a piece of paper.
You do the math real quick. Give me a moment. And I would like to, at this point, I'd like to think my time as a member, as a guild artisan. See, who's my representative?
Okay.
Who's the leader of my union?
God, fuck, I didn't.
Oh man, get the union.
You spring this shit on the DM.
Aggressive typing, dwarf name generator.
You know,
Well, hold on.
just be like, figure it out in between sessions.
You know what I'm just gonna do? I'm gonna just, real quick, I'm gonna go through...
Make up.
Bring off union leader.
I'm gonna send a message to Gerda Kernstein, the head matriarch of the Silverhearth clan in Mountainholm.
And with that, we'll say, for the purposes of that, we'll expand upon this between sessions.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
But basically just saying, hey, I need to work within my union. I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna make some rune gold. And I'm just letting you know I'll be filing for a small export.
Which, as was discussed, your stature as a level 12 Forge Cleric would certainly have the authority to make that sale.
So I would need.
Thank you.
3 pounds of rune gold, but 30 spools of rune gold thread.
Hey, I can get that done. Okay, so I'll be able to help you with that. However, there are certain rules that are involved, seeing as it is a strictly controlled economic item. That said, I want to give you a good shake. We have our little deal going on between us, eh? With the ingot crafting that we do in the mornings.
Aye.
Well, I owe you a bit of a sum. Aye. And while we just got paid, also some of that's gone towards making a symbol of my status. Well, I can just give you the wealth. Instead, what if we go ahead and we cancel what's owed there, aye? And so we go through that, and then we look at other forms of compensance. Maybe I just get more of your time for what we already have. So it's a lot like an IOU. I mean, I can just say, okay, buy all the gold, buy everything I need, I'll make it, and then you buy it from me at market price. Or we can do our little trick. We'll make the gold, then I'll turn it into rune gold, and rather than the cost of rune gold itself, let's say you give me some additional labor.
Not as much as a week per pound, what I'm hearing?
I think a week a pound would be good. So in that case, I'll get 3 weeks worth of your labor for 30 spools. Or, you know, the 30 with the spools of thread.
Yes, that will have to do because I don't think I have. If I spend the money just to buy it outright, I wouldn't be able to get the robe afterwards.
Aye. And you know what, to be fair, if you just want to give me the coin for it, you can. It might be a wee bit cheaper, but it will take... Well, it'll take a few weeks if I don't do it the magical way. But if we magically craft it up, and you give me some of your magical crafting time, I can get it to you in just a couple days.
I just did the math in her head the best possible, honestly. And we already have enough things going on a tight schedule, so yeah, that seems to be the best option.
Right then.
To do it magically.
That just
Holds out his
gives-
hand.
And the jar shakes it.
So gives a look to Ida and Thule, just quietly mouthing to them in demonic, like transmutation and a cleric of the forge. They always do this.
Ida gives a look that gives a look in return and says, "Oh, that makes sense."
Just having the fucking talk off to the side.
Yeah.
It's like they're doing their thing. Leave them be.
Yeah.
They're in their transmutation playpen.
Yep.
We're having a fun time with you. Let's see. Fucking just slap.
You can fit so much room.
Basically, what it's going to come down to is, as he looks to the other two out of the conversation, I will be making these. Come on, give it time. I said info. Put in the chat, motherfucker.
It is, there you go.
Yeah. I like how it says 10 charges.
Yes, because it's got 10 links of the thread per.
Interesting.
Right, so that's done. All that's taken care of. I see, business there. Talked about the funds of going about this, Teshi ruins. When do we set off?
Well,
In, I think, 2 more days when our stay here is done.
I would imagine so. Whenever your next
And are we still going
available,
for the dive tomorrow?
if you would like.
I would like.
Very well then. Shall we we'll meet like I said, meet in the morning tomorrow out at the beachside.
How would we feel at instead at maybe high noon? That would give us, the best direct light, and would let us have the morning to prepare what spells and the like that we would need.
Oh,
And
of
sleep
course.
in.
But if we're going to be diving down, there is no direct light.
It is nothing but
That's true, that's true.
darkness.
Surface-wise, there would be some light, but this guy is quite right.
Well, give us time to.
Oh, I need to be able to look.
Encompassing weight of the darkness of the ocean.
Yeah, sure.
They
But I
should
also, and Liska looks into it, he's like, we will probably need the means of seeing in the darkness.
The jar just
I can glow.
pulls out a dirt globe out of her bag.
That
This will
works.
work. Okay.
I can also provide.
Villain's drift glow?
I can also provide some light if you need. How are
Multiple sources. It's good.
Ida goes? How are you all with methods of underwater breathing?
I do
think I
have
I
a
can hold
ritual.
it for like 20 minutes.
I have a ritual that can
Angus can
for-
hold his breath for 20 minutes.
Whatever the calculation is for max con.
It's 1 minute plus your con mod.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
That's
I thought it was more than that.
Nope.
I was about
that's
He's doing the fucking Minecraft trick where he just digs down, digs a small cavernous hole upwards, and just pops his head in.
Oh yeah,
the bell tower.
It's a fire down somewhere. Just
But you have a spell for water breathing. It's a ritual and can last for 24 hours.
Oh, there you go then. How many people can you affect with that spell?
Is there other spell book? Give me a minute.
If anything, I can do something for the rest. I have a few spells of my own.
And grant about 10 creatures, living creatures.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, then recovered.
The only problem though is me swimming.
Yes, sea
I
legs.
can't swim either.
Ida, didn't we
Prob-
prepare something for that? Trudy kind of thinks for a moment. Well, I did have some potions prepared beforehand when Ida and I were planning to spend the day pearl fishing here. But since we're all doing some diving, they might better serve you. Which kind of rummages around in bag. It's this beautifully woven sort of intricate bag with sort of leaves and various other small flowers kind of protruding from it, and pulls out 6 potions filled with deep blue liquid. You can see various pieces of aquatic creatures in them. A fish's eye, a small tentacle, the scales of a fish. They're homemade, but they take a while to make, so please use them sparingly. Ida and I will have our own methods of transportation underwater.
We will be very careful.
Thank you, but I'm curious, how long did it take you to make that potion?
Oh, about 8 hours.
Ugh.
Angus is kind of glossing over the potion and looking at the bag. Could I look at that for a moment?
There you go. Go and double click that.
I think it's frozen.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in chat.
Ah,
I'm gonna have to
seeing it,
reload.
and it's 6 potions of swimming in a pile.
yeah, it's not in the chat.
Oh, it's not in the chat. It's on the thing. I see.
nope, it's on the
I'm gonna have
the main canvas there.
I see now. Yes.
We all taking one, or is it just the people with swim?
That's there's 6 there. You can do with them as you wish.
There you go.
Prepared.
But yeah, he'll
A
look
moment.
to Thule and like, you mind if I inspect your bag?
Mm.
I won't open it. I just want to admire the craftsmanship.
Make,
Sorry.
Make a persuasion check.
You don't just look inside a lady's bag.
Yeah.
Well, he's not
Or look
looking
at it.
inside it. He's looking at the outside. He
Still.
specifically just said, "I won't open it."
I know, it's just funny to me.
Which is what lowers the DC. You know, you've had plenty of conversations with each other, and 25. Oh, of course. Kind of places it in the center of the place it in the center of the
Still high.
yeah, still high. So place it in the center of the table.
He just kind of looks around it and admires it. It's
can
quite
see.
interesting.
I wove it myself. She with a sort of gesture of her hand, you can see this sort of greenish verdant magic surrounding her fingers, and you watch as the various sort of grassy fibers and vines almost seem to shift on their own.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the magical leaves that we saw in the Morbok.
Oh,
Wait a minute. What? You're not talking about...
You remember when we were running out to Northholm and there was the unusual piles of living leaves that didn't look
Around
like
the-
they matched?
Yeah, from around the caravan and the steam hammer. I
Aye, it
remember
looks
that.
like the same type of leaf, or at least very similar.
Could it be that...
Liska, do you still have that one magic thing you saw that had the note on it?
You're going to have to be a bit more specific.
Well, you had there was the one leaf with your name on it that had that very ominous, threatening message that we found by the steam hammer after we got out of Morthholm.
I mean, it wasn't. If you're saying what I think you're saying, it wasn't ominous. It's just someone was like wanting to talk to me. We are being followed, though. That was a weird thing. But yeah, and she pulls it out. Or at least I am. Sorry.
See, it
Interesting.
kind of reminds me of that same sort of leafy magicness.
It's very unusual.
Angus, do you remember? It was an old halfling lady that we met. She almost did similar things.
Uh,
Can't remember her
you know,
name.
it's very. Oh, I think that was Aisling. As he speaks in halfling.
Ashling.
Applecobble.
Yes, her. We. The circle of trees. Remember that? Seems. It's just me, but it seems really similar. In a vein, of sense.
It looks to be a very similar type of leaf and vines and overgrowth. It looks like the same sort of magic.
Oh,
And you said you made this yourself?
yes. Druidism has its own connections with the a place called the Spirit Grove. Lots of it's heavily influenced by the spiritual realms.
Ah, I see. That does bring up something I've read
Just
about.
end up with what we saw.
You mentioned about Druid because there was a certain realm of woods in Malin that dealt with a human that dealt in that type of thing. Almost said if he died, he would. Not entirely sure if that's possible.
Sorry, you cut out there.
I turned away for a second. Basically, she said there was she read in some type of book that there was a human said to have died in those type of woods and became one with nature, and she not sure if that something could happen like that.
It reminds me of the giant tree people. Ironically, I think they were called ants.
Oh no, Ents is the
Ents?
Ents is the word you're looking for.
Ants, not ants.
I've heard of a story about some sort of individual dying and becoming one with the woods in Midland. In fact, it's not an uncommon thing to happen. In fact, the great tree in the Ebonwood Forest, Armanu, is not actually just a tree. At the very center of it is a person, a very ancient satyr, the leader of their people.
Yara's gonna pass a piece of paper to Thule. This is an excerpt of what I found in that particular book. This is for your eyes only.
She gives you a peculiar look. Very well. And kind of places it into a dress for later, but to look at later, when there's not conversation being had.
Do we want to?
And
going? Do we want to wrap up?
very quickly, you said as conversations being had here, as the night is wearing on, Vellum, you said you wanted to have a brief aside with Ida.
I don't know if it's going to be brief. That's the thing. The subject may evolve into a longer conversation. That's why I thought it might be best for next time. It also gives you time to prep.
All right, so with that, as the evening begins to wrap up, unless anyone wants to say anything to them tomorrow, besides Vellum, we can address that. You all part ways for the night, or return to your dorms. Return to your
Turn to the dorms, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, lounge rather. Return to your dorms. No.
Dorms.
Endpoints.
And
Students should not be out of class.
on that car crash of an ending, we'll end it there. Anyway. I will stop recording in 3, 2, 1.